My friend is having a baby at the same time as me, and I hate it.
Copycat. Oh my God.
I feel like a terrible person for feeling that way. I hate everything about it, and it makes me a very bad friend. By the way, this comes from Throwaway53270, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, here is some context. My friend and I always had the same interests in many things. He also always has a financial situation better than mine and loves to have nice things. This creates situations where whenever I have something, he has the better one. Like, for example, I just bought a good computer. A couple months later, he shows up with a better one. A nice, great camera with a nice lens, he'll get the newer, more advanced one. Anything I'll have, he'll have it too, but just better. I don't want to believe he does it on purpose. We just have the same interests and he has more money, so it does just make sense. Anyway, this became a running joke between my wife and I. For a long time, I was having a successful relationship with my her, and he was struggling to keep a girlfriend. So when he finally found the one 10 months ago, we joked about it because she was a single mom with a 5-year-old daughter. So we joked that, okay, he had to one-up you on this as well. You're married to me, so he had to find someone that would push him to the next step immediately. And so that was the joke for everything, and it was just a joke. When we decided to try for a baby, we joked about it too. You'll see that when I'm pregnant, he'll show up with twins. Well, you read the title. When I knew I was going to be a dad, I was very excited, and I told him the news. I was feeling great about it. I was thinking this would be an amazing moment. Him and his girlfriend asked questions. She gave us advice. They were great. And at some point, well, he or she's going to have a friend, I guess. And now I hate myself for the following. I was crushed inside. It was no longer a special announcement. It became another thing we'd have in common. I stayed polite and played along, but I was not happy at all about it. They didn't plan to do it. They didn't do it just because we wanted one. It just happened. And yet I have this feeling that it's exactly what happened. He went in his 30s with no stable relationship, met someone just to move in with their kid 3 months later, then have a kid with her not even a year into the relationship. I hate every single word that I wrote in this post. Since he announced the news to me, I don't want to speak about it at all with him. I barely want to talk to him, and I'm just focusing on my wife and my future kid. I put all my energy into her. I don't have anyone to share my joy with now, and it's my fault. Now, he comes up to tell me everything he plans. The shopping he's going to do for the baby, the doctor's appointments. And I don't want to tell him what I'm doing or what we're planning because that's going to be something he'll compare and comment about. Just yesterday, he told me that it looked like I didn't care about the first ultrasound appointment just because I said that I cared more about knowing that the baby is okay than seeing the pictures because I don't think I'll be able to understand what I'll be seeing anyway. I took it very wrong and blocked him. Whoa. There's an edit and an update. Needs therapy. Or to have a conversation with his friend. One of those. Or both.
Probably both. Yeah.
Well, the thing is that I think to a certain extent, OP is right to be like, yeah, like literally every time I get something, he has to get something better.
Yeah.
But I think at a certain point, he's kind of like assign that to everything, that feeling to everything that his friend does.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like now his friend cannot do anything right. So before it might have been a reasonable complaint about his friend.
Yeah.
But now it's just like his friend is literally having a kid and he's like, well,
yeah,
he's having a kid at the same time. Like,
yeah. And I think he knows that.
Yeah. Which is, why I think he needs to have a conversation with his friend.
Yeah. And do some self-reflecting too.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, I kind of get it. I remember like when I was in middle school, I was gonna go on like a family trip out of the country, and we like, first of all, never been out of the country. Second of all, rarely did family trips. And I like was so excited. I like told my friends, I was like, oh my gosh, like guess what, guys? I'm gonna go to Sweden this summer. And then one of the other friends was like, oh yeah, me too. And I was like, that was supposed to be a big deal.
Go to Sweden.
Yeah, because she said it like so nonchalantly, and she didn't know me that well.
Yeah,
we were also in middle school, but it was like crushing. So I was like, I wanted to be so excited about it, and you were acting so normal about it, and I was very
going
sad.
to be the one who went to Sweden.
Sure enough,
she stole my thunder.
Going to Sweden too.
Yeah, and
I was
never
really
forgotten
cool.
that.
I've clearly
never forgotten that.
So it's like I get that, but yeah, I think some self-reflecting, maybe
Yeah.
Separate yourself. Tell some other people that aren't having children and get excited that way. And then come back.
Edit. Reading through the comments here really helped me get back to reality. I'm going to have a kid. One of the best advice I've read here was that I do not have a do-over on this. This is my one and only time that I'm going to have my first kid, and I'm totally ruining my experience with these thoughts. I'll speak to my therapist for sure, but you guys have already helped me a lot. Thanks. And comments, Dana29 says, comparison is the thief of joy. Mouthful Peach says, you got a wife and you're going to be a dad. Why are you bothering with this? OP says, exactly. A Pocket Starkly says, I mean, if you want to test the theory, you could always tell him you and your wife are separating because you got yourself a hot young girlfriend and see what he does. I'm very obviously kidding. For real, though, your life is going to change so much with this baby. And I think that you'll actually come to appreciate that you'll have someone you can share the experience with. Aside from your wife, obviously, who will know what you're going through and can offer advice or just an ear when things get difficult. As for your issues, I can only beg you to focus on the joy in your own life and stop looking at his. Focus on your family, your happiness. Constantly comparing with him will only destroy you, and I guarantee he doesn't give it a second thought. Just focus on being the best husband, father, and version of yourself you can be, and you won't even have time to think about him.
Yeah.
Great comment.
That's really good advice.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah, there is an update, but I think also it's just, it can be a little bit of a blessing in disguise, kind of like this commenter is saying. Because now, you got your your kids can be friends. That's exciting.
Exactly.
Like, I think a lot of friends, it's their dream to have kids kind of at the same time.
Yeah. Dude, that'd be so fun.
Yeah. Update. Yesterday, I made a post about how I was feeling like a terrible person for not being happy for my friend having a kid in the same time than me. The TLDR of this post is that I always had the probably false impression that he was trying to one-up me on everything, and even though I knew this was probably not the case here, something inside me screamed that this was the final straw. Commenters helped me a lot to bring me back to reality. Judgments were made about me, some were wrong, but most of them were true. I already planned to take an appointment with my therapist before posting, but I took it right after. In the meantime, I couldn't speak to my friend about it because I felt too ashamed of my behavior, and maybe some things are better left unsaid. No, you blocked him. I think you have to address that.
If you noticed.
Yeah. However, I did apologize to him for my recent behavior. Other events had occurred that made me cold towards him, and I explained myself. That's good. He appreciated my apologies a lot, and that I acknowledged that I wasn't a good friend. I spoke to my wife about it, and she was very supportive. I told her basically what you guys told me, that I was going to have a kid, that I didn't have a do-over on this one, and that I didn't want to completely miss the moment just because my mind was not in a good place. I told her that I booked an appointment to the therapist in order to refocus on our kid, and she appreciated this. Even though she wasn't as brutal as you guys, she agreed with all of your advice. She didn't see the post. I just told her the lessons I learned from it. By the way, you can learn lessons with us if you go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime for more full episodes with stories just like this.
That's right. That's right.
But there is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
Well, the blind one sent $5 and said, I have a family member like this and I feel OP's pain. Yeah, I feel like I honestly understand him. Like, I feel like after some time that would get annoying, especially if it comes off across at first, kind of like you were saying, like maybe at first it was a bit stronger, like the appearance of this seeming like a one-upping kind of thing. Maybe that was a lot stronger at first, and then over time it just like you never really dealt with that feeling and it just got worse. But I kind of get that. I think yeah, it's something to address inside of you, something to work through, kind of like what we've been saying, I guess, already. But it could be annoying if he is actually doing that.
It really depends on if he's doing it or not, and I think that can be solved with the conversation. Because you can say like, I just felt, and maybe this is totally wrong, but it felt like you were doing this, and then that kind of created this icky feeling of jealousy,
Yeah.
Like, can you have that conversation?
Yeah, and maybe when you're like saying that that's how it feels, maybe don't use the baby as like an example, but use like the shopping around the baby or something like that. Like, especially if he's saying that you didn't care about the ultrasound just because you said that you just care that the baby's healthy rather than the pictures, Like, that is actually a thing to be addressed. Like, he's kind of insulting you in a way, or at least I would probably be insulted by that. So So yeah, bring up some of those other examples and be like, hey, like, I don't know if this is how it means or if this is how you mean it to sound, but
this is how I've been
sounds.
taking. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then you can move on, work through it.
Exactly. But there's a little bit left to the story. Also, yesterday, something very important happened. The first ultrasound appointment. This was incredible. Beforehand, I was not especially excited about it because I had a misconception of what it would be. I thought I was just going to see a few still pictures of the embryo that I wouldn't be able to understand because I thought it'd be 3 blurry pixels in front of a noisy background. However, this was much more than this. This was a live video of those 3 blurry pixels where the doctor could explore in 3 dimensions. I saw it alive. I saw his heart beating. We measured it and we heard his heart. What can I say? Nothing else matters now. I don't care about my friend's actions. My baby's in good shape. My wife is healthy, and that's all that matters. He's the only thing on my mind now after the echography.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah, I still go to my therapist, but the heartbeat I saw and heard yesterday already accomplished so many things. Thanks for your honesty. Thanks for those many quotes that I'll remember. Sometimes we are not the best person in the room, but we can try to be better. And that's the end of that story. My mother-in-law said I'd ruin her son's life, so I banned her from our wedding.
I'm gonna ruin his life.
My husband, 36 male, and I, 33 female, have known each other since we were teens. But our lives went separate ways until about 3 years ago, when I met my husband again. His mother, my mother-in-law, was living with him. I didn't see an issue with this, as it's not like he was living with her, and I could clearly tell he wasn't a mama's boy. In fact, he disagreed with his mother quite often, but was always good about holding his tongue and keeping the peace. By the way, this comes from Safe University 8323, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
We are here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. About 3 months into us seeing each other, my husband and his mother got into an argument. She insisted he build a privacy fence in his front yard because the local troublemakers across the street made her uncomfortable. He refused, as not only is it not permitted where we live to do so, but because it was tacky and ridiculous. This caused a huge fight in which he told her she had to go, and she promptly moved her things out. Oddly enough, though, they were fine the next day, and he helped her move her belongings back in. Fast forward about 6 months later. It's Easter 2024. She had us come over to help move things. She moved again to her second place since my husband's house. While we were there, she asked to give my stepdaughter, 5 years old at the time, her Easter basket she had made her. She made all of her grandchildren one that year. I myself have 3 children of my own, 13 male, 12 female, and 8 male. All 4 children were with us while we were helping her move. My husband asked her if she had made anything for my children, to which she responded no. She didn't think about them. I told her it was fine. They were really too old for Easter baskets anyway. She apologized and insisted my kids pick out an Easter basket and she'd just make more for the other grandchildren. So my kids picked a basket and we went about our night. Remember this for later. Since my mother-in-law couldn't afford much, she was moving into small apartments, and this last place was a room in a mansion some guy owns and rents the rooms out. She had asked us if she could store some things at our house that she just didn't want to get rid of, but didn't have the space for. My husband had just moved into my home not long before this. I owned a house in the country on 5 acres. My children and I were already trying to adjust to having him and my stepdaughter in our space, along with their belongings. But I agreed to let her store her things until she was able to find other storage options. I gave her 6 months. At this time, my husband and I had just gotten engaged, and my storage in my garage was being prepared to be used for my wedding prep and decor. Towards the 6-month mark, I had started asking my husband to speak with his mother about her things, as I was running out of space to store wedding things. He agreed and did message her periodically about it. She'd always say she'd come over and wouldn't. Or my favorite, she's scared of my dog. I told her I'd keep him locked in his kennel the entire time. So finally, I reached out to my mother-in-law and asked if she'd like me to help her get the items posted on Facebook Marketplace and sell them since she clearly had gone this long without the items. She agreed, and I told her she was welcome to come out and help me price items and go through everything. She always had an excuse for not coming out. One day, I messaged her and told her I'd price the items and get them placed online for her. She agreed. I started going through items, and honestly, most of it was items that required a specific buyer for big bucks. crystalware, decorative plates, decor, etc. The furniture was pretty much junk, except for one decent chest of drawers and a decorative dessert cart. I began to list the items to sell. Things began to sell, but then we got a call from my mother-in-law. She was not happy with the pricing. She didn't have a Facebook, but my husband's youngest sister was telling their mother what I was listing things for. Well, yes, I was pricing things low. It was not unreasonable for the circumstances. I had given her 6 months, and it had been 8 months at this point. I gave her the option to help me price things, and I wanted the stuff out of my storage. I told her things were already sold, that she wanted the prices changed on, and if she wanted those higher price tags, she should have come gotten her stuff or helped me. I explained to her that the majority of what she had required the right buyer to get the money she was asking for. I was not there to be her personal eBay, and I didn't have time and needed the space for our wedding. We found out a few days later that the place she lives has a storage shed in the backyard for each room and resident in the mansion. So she had somewhere this whole time for her stuff. Where does she live?
What is this mysterious mansion?
What do you mean she lives in a mansion?
Is it haunted?
You know what?
Does she live with Eddie Murphy?
No, she lives with Professor X. Is that what's his name? The X-Men mansion?
Oh, Charles Xavier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you made me think I was wrong. I was not.
I mean, I guess Professor X, yeah.
Yeah, his official
But
name.
you made me think of Chemical X from the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's
No.
not the name of the guy,
No, I'm just
right?
thinking she lives in the X-Men mansion, and she's like, yeah, I have some really weird roommates. Nothing else much was said, and she got what little money was made from what would sell, and the rest went to the dump. This was all in late August 2024. Thanksgiving 2024 rolls around, and it's mine and my kids' first Thanksgiving with my husband's whole family. My mother-in-law wanted a picture of all of her grandchildren since they were all finally in one place at one time. My husband asked if we could get a second photo that included my 3 children as well as for him. She scoffed, and needless to say, no pictures were taken. Later that night, my husband received a text from my mother-in-law. He wouldn't tell me what it said. He just said that she was no longer invited to the wedding and that he would have no contact with her.
Whoa, that escalated.
I was baffled, but trusted my husband. If it was something he didn't even want to share with me, I knew it had to have been bad. As the days went by, I couldn't stop thinking about what that text could have said to make my husband completely uninvite her from our wedding and cut all contact.
I have an idea.
I have maybe an idea.
I bet you it had something to do with you and your kids.
I think so.
And he said, "Poof, goodbye."
Wow, she was honestly a ball of hatred and overstimulated nerves. It was still his mother. I finally sat my husband down and asked to read her message. He agreed to let me, but warned me prior to doing so that it was nasty and not to let any of it get to me. After reading the message, I set his phone down and looked at him. I told him I appreciated for sticking up for not only me, but my kids, and I fully backed him if he chose no contact with her. In her message, she told him that I would ruin his life and be the biggest mistake of his life. I was horrible, and he'd regret it. Something along the lines of my kids being horrible children. She hardly interacted with my kids ever, and that she'd never consider them her grandkids.
Well,
You
then
don't
I guess
have that problem.
they'll never consider you their grandma because you're not going to be around.
She didn't want them in the Thanksgiving photo, and that just ruined her Thanksgiving. She also
my
mentioned
God.
how my children and I ruined Easter for her too, because she shouldn't have to make things for my kids, since they aren't her grandkids and never would be. I can see maybe why she'd be upset with me over her stuff in my storage, but my kids? They're kids! They literally have never done anything to her. So after I read the text message my mother-in-law sent to my husband after Thanksgiving, my husband and I had a conversation about his relationship with his mother. Basically, her behavior was nothing new to him or his family. She has had issues with my sister-in-law's significant others and brother-in-law's significant others. It's not the first time one of her children have cut her off due to her behavior. Uncalled for statements, wild hatred for almost everything and everyone, unsolicited advice, and just pure lack of tact. However, it hit him different this time, he said, and was directed towards him specifically. I was the woman he was in love with and going to spend the rest of his life with. My children are his children, and he was absolutely not going to budge on this one this time. I agreed and supported him, obviously. Because she brought my children into it, she kind of ignited a little mama fire. So I did tell my husband that for me to forgive her and us be any part of her life, she would need to apologize in person to me. Apologizing is apparently something she doesn't do often, and damn sure not in person. Now at this point I start thinking, surely my children have never done anything to her, right? I've racked my brain. They truly hardly ever spoke to her. They're loud in the way, and just regular kids, but never have visibly or to my knowledge upset her or done anything intentionally or even unintentionally to upset her. I just don't get how a grown woman can be some type of way to kids. It truly breaks my heart for my kids too, because while my youngest, 8 male, doesn't understand anything, my 2 oldest, 13 male and 12 female, are old enough to understand what's going on. Even though it's never been discussed with them directly, they've overheard conversations. As for me, well, prior to the storage incident, I never really had much to say to my mother-in-law. She'd make some wild comments here or there about people, places, whatever rant she had that day, and I would just smile, not say anything validating or invalidating. I am a very passive person, and it takes a lot to get me upset. I also hold myself to a very high moral standard, as it's a huge part of my religion. So saying distasteful things or berating, belittling, ranting, and fueling a clearly flaming bonfire just isn't my thing. Other than her drama tirades, though, we did have normal conversations, which I thought were always pleasant. I never got involved when she was arguing with a family member or disagreeing with my husband, nor did I ever offer an opinion one way or another. 1 month before our wedding, March 2025, I decided that we would not be the reason his mother didn't attend our wedding. While I was still upset with her, I'd had months to think, and even though I wasn't at a point to forgive her, it is still my husband's mother, and her not being there ultimately would be damaging to any possible future relationship with his mother. By the way, it would be damaging to us if you didn't listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Until she owns up to her own bad behavior.
Yeah.
There's no reason to build a bridge.
I agree.
To restore this relationship, because then nothing has fundamentally changed.
We have had 0 contact with her since Thanksgiving 2024. I told my husband to tell one of his sisters to invite her to the wedding. So he did. And to my knowledge, both his sisters and his brother, best man, did tell her she was invited. The big day comes and drum roll, no mother-in-law in sight. She did not come. While I could tell it sort of upset my husband, it didn't ruin our day, and we are happily married. I stand firm. I want a formal apology in person. We have still had no contact with his mother. What did I marry into exactly? I think you're fine. I think you're A-okay, because your husband clearly is on your side and took very immediate action against her, so I think you're okay.
My boss laughed about cutting my pay, but I got revenge.
Oh, yeah, you did.
I had so much respect for my manager until I realized she's a flying monkey to our CEO and possibly a self-absorbed person herself. People started leaving after a court case was revealed last year, and I keep having to remind myself that their treatment of me wasn't just because they were overwhelmed. These were active choices they made. By the way, this comes from In Need of Knowledge, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
And I'm Angie.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, the passive aggression and subtle put-downs became too much. It felt like psychological warfare, and I had to convince myself I wasn't crazy. When my pay was decreased and I requested clarity with number breakdowns, it was like a switch flipped. My review was suddenly moved up per my request, and HR was added to the meeting. It's also the little thing. The past couple of weeks, my manager asked me to edit a document, then sent me a different template 2 or 3 times, saying she changed her mind, seemingly just to waste my time. Or she'd ask me to reach out to somebody, then tell me to say never mind because I should have known we didn't need it.
What? You're my boss, and you told me to do this.
Right. What do you mean I should know that we didn't need it?
Yeah, what?
These instances didn't frustrate me on their own, but I could feel the animosity and baiting behind them. I hit my breaking point yesterday when I was asked what I was complaining about now.
Oh my god.
After being quieter than usual. I'd gotten a call that morning that my family member was passing away. I had out of office work meetings the rest of the day, per my manager's request, and she got upset that I wasn't coming back to the office afterward, saying I should have let her know I was leaving early. I made it clear I wasn't taking a lunch break because these tasks would take up my afternoon, but to let me know if I needed to go to the office instead. She stopped after that. I'm hoping to leave soon, but it's awful realizing you spent years working for people who mistreated their authority and took out their frustrations on employees instead of improving the company. There's so much more that happened, and I'm ashamed I put up with this for as long as I did. I almost feel scared posting this because somebody might tell me I'm wrong about these people, but I know I'm right. Comments. What's worse is realizing it, but then making excuses for it and getting tricked again and again. That's what happened to me. I was finally able to get out 6 weeks ago, but I'm still sorting through all the stuff I let myself put up with. The truth is, my self-absorbed boss was so cunning and could turn up the charm when needed. And truthfully, I was trying to protect myself, so I let a lot go. I didn't have a choice but to be tricked. All I can do is echo Dr. Romani and say, it's not you. They've been doing this and they'll continue to do this. It's not your fault that you didn't see it. We're human, and either we want to believe the best in others, me, or we do what we can to get by in our social situations. Sometimes that means chalking up bad behavior to workflow. We have an update.
Oh boy.
But, yeah, that's a lot.
That is a lot. That's very frustrating. It's like these are the people in charge
Yeah.
that are supposed to be like helping you,
Yeah.
and they're actively going against that.
I had a job at one point where they tried to claim that I was leaving early, and I was like, it went on for a while, and I was like, no, it's like 5:30. Like, this is a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
I'm not even taking a lunch, so I'm already 30 minutes over. And they would get so mad, and finally just got to the point that I was like, when do you want me to leave?
Yeah.
Like, what hours are ideal for you?
Yeah.
And they kind of were like taken aback by it, and they were like, oh, like 6:30?
Oh my
And I was
god.
like, great, and that's all you had to say.
Right. Like, just ask me to stay
Right.
later. Like, oh my gosh.
But we have an update. My annual review was yesterday, moved up per my request because I'd asked for numbers regarding my pay decrease. Also forgot OP had pay doc.
That's right.
And they're doing this. I'd held my own and actually got a decent raise, probably because we have no employees left and they need me.
Oh my god.
I'm proud of how professionally I handled this conversation, considering the masks were now off. It was very difficult and demeaning. My manager laughed about my decrease and said I just needed to do some math because I'd started by saying I was confused. I stared neutrally at her and said nothing until she picked the conversation back up. It was insanely awkward for her and felt amazing.
That's a great way to go about it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Just silent.
Or the
let her figure it out.
elaborate on that.
Yeah, like, what do you mean?
Yeah. I didn't say this previously in the story, but I'm going back to school in the fall. They know this, and I even offered to help train somebody during my review since I'll be busy in a few months. I was genuinely trying to make the next few weeks easier on both me and my employers. Important context, we have Fridays work from home. I don't take lunch breaks when I'm at the office, and I also work weekends as needed. I'm always available when these people needed me. I've pretty much never said no to helping out. In her recap email, she let me know in the last paragraph that since I mentioned feeling busy, I could alleviate this by working 10-hour days or coming back to the office on Friday since this schedule doesn't work for everyone and she's just throwing out a few ideas to help. I know this might seem like a normal boss thing to say, but it would single me out when I already work the schedule I described. Just pushing the responsibility back on me or trying to guilt trip me into working harder instead of fixing the actual problem. A short-term power play that's only going to hurt her because, shocker, I'm not doing that. This woman would drown without me there. I've saved her over and over again the past 3 years with little in return because I had respect for her and didn't understand she was setting me up to fail in the long run. I have a bunch of meetings on my calendar next week for duties she is passing off to me. I've never not worked on my PTO, paid time off days. Nothing crazy, but answering the phone and emails as needed. Well, I'm going to an important and saddening funeral this weekend, as they know. What she doesn't know is that I'm also taking PTO the entire next week and silencing my phone, email, and work line. She thought she could guilt or intimidate me into submission, but she's about to understand what it's like without me there. I don't care if I'm fired because I've put enough research into my exit plan and am in a comfortable place to be let go. They can if they want, but they're already in a horrible position. My plan going forward is to take a PTO day anytime she's rude or passive aggressive to me until I either don't have any left, and I have a lot, or I quit or get fired. If they'd just been kind to me, I would have trained somebody at my new rate, but now I'll be requiring a bonus. I would have done a lot of things if I was shown some basic human decency. I'm checked out emotionally and I've already won the long game. I'm pretty happy. I'm not telling anybody in my office where I go to school or work next until much, much after I leave, if at all. This chapter will be behind me soon and these pathetic people will be nothing to me. We have some comments.
They will be nothing to me.
You mean nothing. Commenter 1. Excellent job. Using silence as a tool to gain power in a dynamic is extremely powerful. I've done the same, and it's amazing to see how the power instantly shifts to you. It's awesome that you're willing to use your leverage of being willing to leave and using PTO days to your advantage. The cards are in your hands, and they can't afford to lose you. Absolutely demand a bonus to train someone new. They would use everything in their power to extract everything they can out of you. Why shouldn't you do the same? Commenter 2. Making her feel awkward must have been a highlight for you. I had a situation with a former manager that takes glee when writing someone up and then delivering it to them. At some point, most, if not everyone, had been written up for things whether relevant or not, including me. I kept pointing out a few things that didn't make sense, and I finally very firmly said, "Oh, I didn't know that our personal time off the clock was allowed to be looked at by the company. Is that in the company handbook?" She knew she messed up. I left a few months later.
Ooh, you got her. Wow.
And by the way, you always got full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, favorite podcast app, search up OK Storytime. Got a little bit left. We got another update, actually.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, and I saw the title.
Oh, boy.
What are you thinking?
Yeah, dude, you've got it.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, she said that she left a few months later, right? So,
Yeah.
So you're out of there.
She's gone.
Gone.
Dipping.
Yeah, but I think that's like the best way to go. Just like, oh, this isn't right. This
Right.
is not how we're supposed to work. This is not in the rules. So you cannot
Yeah.
complain about me doing this.
I
Like-
love when people use, like, fine, if you want to play by the rules, I will play so closely by the rules
yeah.
that you're annoyed by it.
yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, I'll take my PTO and I will actually be fully out of office, cannot reach
Right.
me.
Right.
You go, girl.
You go.
We have an update.
Okay.
Update 2, my boss resigned a month after I did.
Whoa.
I've moved cities and started my new job, so I'm happy overall, but floored by the text I got from my old coworker yesterday. After months of belittlement, name-calling, trying to get me to do shady stuff to our books, and making jabs about the tough job market during my final 2 weeks, she quits?
Huh.
The company has now lost 3 employees since March, and there are only 4 left, so it's obviously a sinking ship. I feel vindicated since this means I was right in thinking her role wouldn't be sustainable without me there. I had the calmest, most calculated exit that allowed me to shred her dignity and keep mine without giving a reaction. But I'm just curious as to what the final straw was. It's
Oh
the
my
end of
gosh.
that story.
My ex cheated and left me for her soulmate. Now she's getting her karma.
Karma's a witch.
My ex, 29 female, and I, 29 male, met in college in 2013. I was 22 and she was 21. We became fast friends and eventually developed feelings for each other. We became a couple a year later, and it was a great relationship. I don't regret it. By the way, this comes from Main Potential 7327, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Angie.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, in 2016, I was home when she called saying she was outside and that we needed to talk. I went outside and saw that she was crying in her car. I went up to her and asked what was wrong. She confessed that she cheated on me. I was shocked, hurt, and teared up. She said we needed to break up because I deserved better than her and that she had developed feelings for the affair partner. I warned her about rushing into something with someone else and that a relationship that begins by cheating usually ends badly. After we finished talking, I walked back to my house, but before I went in, I turned around to see her one more time. She was still crying. Once I went inside, she posted on social media saying, I wish I could just disappear, with a crying emoji. I proceeded to remove her from social media after that. As I was mourning the end of my relationship, I also thought about how her new relationship would blow up in her face. 2 years went by. During that time, she tried reaching out to me multiple times. She asked how I was doing, sent I'm sorry messages and are you okay? I never responded. I didn't block her because I was waiting for her when her relationship blew up. Friends and family actually saw her during those 2 years, and they all said the same thing. She looked miserable. And when she saw them, she would run up and ask how I was doing, begging them to tell me that she would never stop being sorry. In 2018, she messaged me asking to meet up because she wanted to talk. I knew the day had arrived. I met her at a diner. I live in New Jersey. And she was miserable. She looked like she had been crying before we met up. When she saw me, she gave a weak hi, and I gave her a cold one. This surprised her, and she got teary-eyed. I asked her what she wanted to talk about. She said that she and a affair partner broke up 2 weeks ago and admitted that the relationship with him was horrible. It turned out he was a self-absorbed person who emotionally mistreated her. Wow. She showed me texts that were full of, no one will ever love you like me, and you're ugly. He had broken up with her by text. She also admitted that the guilt of what she did to me never went away, and that I was right. She then noticed my emotionless expression and turned away, saying, you used to be so happy and silly. It hurts seeing you like this, and I know it's my fault because of my bad, selfish, and dumb decisions. She went on to say, I'm sorry for everything. I thought about you every day for the past 2 years. She said that not only did she ruin us, but she lost her best friend. You were my best friend and I ruined that. She started crying again, saying, I'm not here to get back together because I don't deserve that and I have no right to ask that. I told her it's true that you don't deserve me. They got quiet and she turned away again. She said that she missed me and that she had missed me for 2 years. Then she asked me to be friends again. I told her I couldn't promise anything. She started crying and I left the diner. As I was walking out, I turned over and she was still crying. History repeating itself. After I got home, she messaged me saying, if we become friends again, I'll work my butt off to earn back your trust. And if not, please know I'll always be sorry for everything. A year later in 2019, I bumped into her while buying lunch. We caught up, but I wasn't as cold as before. I'll admit I'm a little embarrassed about what I did next. I offered her a friends with benefits arrangement and she accepted OP. The friends with benefits lasted for a few months. When I look back, I think I did it for closure and to show her what she was missing. I ended it because I felt that I got my closure. She was disappointed but also understood. A few months later, she started seeing someone new, and they dated until early 2020 before the pandemic hit. She showed up to my home unannounced and revealed to me that the new guy cheated on her with multiple women and actually blamed her for the cheating. Just like a affair partner, the new guy broke up with her by text. Girl,
Bro.
you need to take some time apart, go to therapy, figure
Yeah.
out what is going on with you.
We do not want to keep using OP as a default, though, for all of
No.
this.
Yeah, OP, remember, she's literally coming back to you whenever she doesn't have anyone.
Yeah,
And that's bad.
that is bad. It's not good.
She said how much she hated herself for what she did to me. But now she understood how I felt. I gave her a hug and told her to take these lessons and never forget them. She thanked me and left. I heard she's in individual counseling and remains single by choice. Good idea. Woo! I saw her mother recently and she informed me. As for me, I'm single, working on myself, getting into shape, working in psychology. Guess what inspired me? Comment 1. She just broke up with her affair partner and hasn't even been alone a few weeks and she wants to monkey branch back to you? Run away. You don't need a friend like that. She's hoping to manipulate you into giving her what she wants without actually having to face herself or become a healthy person. Do not engage. And there is an update, but do you have any thoughts?
Boo.
Boo.
We gotta ignore if your ex is coming back after multiple years just because someone broke up with her all of a sudden. Like, if that's so lame.
So lame.
So lame way to try
Big
to
old
get someone
lame.
back.
Yeah.
Don't fall for it, people.
Do not fall for it.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
It's a trick. It's a trap.
Such a big trap, man. But there is an update. Last month, something happened that made me think. Uh-oh. My ex left me this message. Hey, OP. I know this is a shock to hear from me, but I want to get this off my chest. I felt guilty for cheating on you with a fair partner 5 years ago. I left you for him, but part of me didn't love you anymore regardless. But it still wasn't right of me to leave you for someone else. I've learned my lesson not to put someone through that type of pain that I did to you. 5 years later, I still carry that part of pain with me, and I'll never forgive myself for the effed up situation. I definitely don't give a crap about a fair partner anymore because of how much of a self-absorbed a-hole he really is. You can find someone better than me. Our relationship was wonderful. You were good to me, and at the end, I treated you like crap. You didn't deserve that at all. And my relationship with a fair partner started off good until I saw the real truth in him and the red flags that I didn't realize until after our relationship. I feel guilty for hurting you during me and a fair partner's relationship. I miss our friendship a lot. When I saw you for the first time in 2 years, I said to myself, he's so not going to forgive me for the crap I put him through. And I'm going to be lady enough to apologize for the way I hurt him. And I would never ask him to take me back because that's not the way to handle crap at all. I will always care about you and I will always be sorry for everything I've done. I hope I can see you again one day. I was speechless at first, but then I just messaged, thank you, and left it at that. Comment, notice how she repeatedly said it was only after she realized the other guys sucked that she felt bad about it.
Yeah.
That sounds like she would still be fine with it if he hadn't turned out to be what he was all along. Beyond that, this message doesn't serve to apologize to you. Instead, to ease her own discomfort and attempt to draw more from you. Update 2. It's been a while. I'm happy to say that I haven't seen my ex in 2 years and things are going really well. Since I last posted, I was in a relationship that ended 7 months ago, but at least that breakup was mutual. Also, I'm no longer scrawny. Finally got some muscle on me. Nice, OP. By the way, you can get some muscle on your brain if you listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio to do some reps for your mind.
That's right.
We've got a little bit left, though. Any final thoughts?
Ugh. Those are my thoughts.
Big time ugh.
That's just so annoying.
So annoying.
There's so many different ways.
Yeah.
Literally just block her. If you were to say anything, I feel like the things that would mess with her the most is if you like don't respond or if you just say like okay or something like that.
Yeah.
Or yeah, maybe just don't respond. That's the best way to do it. Don't give her any closure from that. I know you said thank you, so it's too late, but don't.
But after
I
that,
wouldn't.
you're done. Block her. Block her.
She's gonna keep
Stop
coming
talking
back.
to your ex. It's
Yeah.
embarrassing. I was reflecting today about when I met my ex at the diner back in 2018. She was telling me how she didn't realize that she was also emotionally cheating on me until years later. She told me that it made her feel even worse because she didn't know what emotional cheating was at the time, and she thought infidelity was only physical. It actually made me wonder if there are a lot of people that don't really know that they're emotionally cheating. In the end, cheating ruins the cheater and the victim. Never cheat. It usually is never worth it.
Keyword usually.
Yeah. Dang, man. Wow. That is the end of that story.
My boyfriend's family claimed I ruined him, and now they're against me.
Well, what can you do?
My boyfriend, 22 male, and I, 22 female, have been together for over 3 years. We live together and have a really strong, loving relationship. He is my best friend and genuinely one of the kindest, most thoughtful people I've ever met. But his family has always been intense. By the way, this comes from HTTPS error, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Angie.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, over time, I've realized they're controlling, very religious, Catholic, and guilt-driven. They expect everyone to live and believe exactly how they do, and they react really badly when someone doesn't. At first, it was small stuff, comments about us living together. That's not right. You should hurry up and get married. You need to be right with God. And constantly guilting him if he didn't come to Sunday lunch. They act like they're open and loving, but if you disagree with them, you're treated like a problem. My boyfriend is also working under his dad to take over the family business. But there's been a lot of issues with that over the past few years because his dad has become unreliable and recently told him he would never own the business, despite saying he would ever since we've gotten together. I was a huge reason that my boyfriend even began wanting to take it over in the first place. I have always tried to be close with them, but have always felt underlying dislike since the start, especially by his sister. On our first day of knowing each other, her first words in front of me were to my boyfriend, saying that for a second she thought he had brought their grandma over.
Wait a second. What? Are they calling OP a grandma?
Yeah, the first words in front of OP were directed at OP's boyfriend, going, I really thought you brought grandma over for a second.
Oh my gosh.
She also made snide comments about me based on what she assumed were my political views. Additionally, she has always unincluded me when it comes to her 20 female and my boyfriend's brother's girlfriend 23 female. She has been around for double the time I have, and when I started noticing being blatantly left out, usually talking about how much we all loved thrifting and uptown cheapskate, and then them making plans in front of me to go and not inviting me. Despite me starting that conversation, it was really hard to not start comparing myself. Another layer to this is that my boyfriend has always struggled with setting boundaries with his parents. For a while, and this was something he admitted to me later, and I didn't know it was happening at the time, whenever he would set a boundary, he would say it was me that was upset, not the both of us, even if it was just him who was upset about something. Girl, he set you up to fail.
Yeah.
That's setting you up to fail.
That's such a bad boyfriend move. What the heck?
He also has a tendency to have lunch with his parents and then come back a completely different person because they spend the whole lunch trying to convince him of something or to have a certain opinion. He has since started therapy throughout this and has gotten a lot better, but it's still just another cause of this mess. After a lot of pressure and guilt from them, my boyfriend finally decided to have a calm, honest conversation with his parents about the boundaries and how they've been making him feel. I went with him because some of the issues involved me too, like being excluded from communication and being blamed for decisions we made together. The main reason I was there was because he asked me to be there for moral support, but wanted me to speak minimally. The
I'm sorry. I want you to be here so you can just support me, but quietly.
Even though
Don't
this
say
is
a
about
word.
your concern.
Yeah, what?
Weird. The conversation started okay, but quickly turned awful. His dad became defensive and basically said he didn't have to respect our opinions if we didn't share his beliefs. He openly compared me to his brother's girlfriend, and even if my boyfriend was the one expressing himself, both his parents would respond and get mad at me. When I suggested there be a more efficient way of communication about family events, it's a lot to explain, but just trust. His dad said the world didn't revolve around me and I needed to get over it because he wasn't going to call me to tell me updates about things or send things into the family group chat or talk about them at lunch.
You just gotta get over it. I'm not gonna talk to you at all or
Right.
communicate like whatsoever.
Weird.
So just deal with it.
A couple of weeks later, he called me directly after my boyfriend said he wouldn't go back over to Sunday lunch until his dad apologized to me for getting specifically heated with me, and that also went terribly. He yelled at me, accused me of holding his son back, called me names, a snowflake, and told me to grow up. That was the breaking point. My boyfriend decided to take space from them for a while. I met with his mom, one-on-one, afterward to clear the air, and she acted like she understood. She said she wanted to make things better and even asked me how to best resolve things. We had a very long, seemingly productive conversation about how we both missed each other and wanted things to go back to normal, and why my boyfriend and I have both been hurt and how she's been hurt. She asked me how to get through to her son, and I explained to her how he was feeling and how to get him to be receptive to her attempts to reach out, genuinely just acknowledging his feelings and making it clear that they wanted to resolve things. And she agreed with me. She said she would, and then never did. Then, when my boyfriend called her asking why, she claimed we never spoke of anything like that. Weeks went by, and things only got worse. His dad started withholding money he owed my boyfriend for work, and when my boyfriend asked about it, his dad got defensive again and said he didn't remember agreeing to pay him. He eventually paid him what was owed until that point, and then demoted his pay from now onward, since my boyfriend told his dad he was looking for a new job when summer starts. Every conversation turned into gaslighting. Then his sister texted him out of nowhere, basically telling him to get over himself, that he and I were being dramatic, and that he needed to grow up. That's when we realized his parents had been spreading their version of the story around to all the siblings. His dad even talked to my boyfriend's brother, who then told one of my boyfriend's friends about it and got him involved. So my boyfriend decided to send a calm, factual group message to his siblings explaining everything: the religious pressure, the disrespect, his dad yelling at me, and why he needed space. He was polite, but honest. Their reaction was brutal. They said he needed to get his crap together, that I had changed him, and that I was basically molding him into someone else. His sister said I was insecure, that I've been jealous of the other brother's girlfriend from the start, that my boyfriend used to be fun and carefree, and now she doesn't even recognize him. She then proceeded to compare me to said brother's girlfriend, saying that she brings him closer to the family and I take my boyfriend away from them. She said he wasn't himself anymore and he wasn't taking over the business, as if I was manipulating him not to, when I was the one who encouraged him to in the first place. They said the only solution was for him to start going back to Sunday lunch without me for a couple of weeks to feel it out, that I could come later when I was ready. I can't even describe how much that hurt. They've twisted the story to make me the villain. And even though my boyfriend defended me and said it wasn't true, he also said that eventually he wants to go back to those lunches. He said maybe over time they'll come around to liking me again. But I feel like I can never go back there, not after being screamed at, lied about, and blamed for everything. But by the way, I'll never blame you for listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts, and search up OK Storytime. We've got just a little bit more. Big sigh.
Yeah, it's complicated because I get how OP is feeling.
100%.
Like, yeah, these people were terrible to me. I don't want to be around them.
And like still excluding her when that was her biggest thing of like, I feel really left out.
Right, like that's all she wanted. But like, I also understand the boyfriend's idea of like, well, I mean, hopefully over time this can be fixed. And like, it's hard because like I wouldn't be mad at the boyfriend for that at all. Like, I think that's very understandable for him to want to, but it's hard because it's neither of them have control over that.
Right. I think I'd be mad if it was like he hadn't tried and he hadn't talked to them about things.
Yeah.
But it seems like they're just not getting through to him. And it's,
yeah, because he did tell them.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like you can't make him cut them off. So this is the solution. Like it is just he's going to maintain contact and you're just kind of not, unless you're not wanting to stay in that relationship.
Yeah.
Got a little bit left. Now I'm stuck in this unbearable place. I love him so much and he's not the one hurting me. His family is. But I don't know how I can build a life with someone whose entire family sees me as manipulative and controlling. And I can't imagine pretending to be bubbly and friendly at Sunday lunch with people who hate me. I don't want to give him an ultimatum, but I feel like I can't handle this anymore. I'm exhausted, I cry constantly, and I feel like I'm losing my mind. I'm terrified that they are right about me and that I've been unknowingly this way. What do you even do when you adore someone but their family has decided you're the villain in their story? And we have some comments. Commenter 1, your man is an absolute coward and he has no intention of ever putting you first. Even now he wants their approval. If he can't live without them, then he can't live with you. Find a real man. Someone replies, your partner is in a tough spot. I hope he continues on his own path and stays away from their religious pressuring and bullying. But he's telling you he wants to go back to the frequent lunches with his bullies. He is the one who put all the blame on you at first and endangered your relationship with his family. I did totally forget that he was the one that was like lying and saying OP wasn't okay with things.
I forgot about that too.
I forgot about that.
I fear that's maybe where our issue begins.
I think it really does.
Yeah.
So, like, 'cause I'm torn because it did seem like he tried a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like he could still continue to try and show you that he's stepping up.
Sure.
I'm still on the front, though, that, like, ultimately, if he goes back to that relationship with his parents,
Yeah.
even if they are bullying him,
Yeah.
that is his choice. It is his family.
Yeah.
And over time, maybe he will realize what they've done to you and that you are someone that he really loves. And then
Yeah.
he will distance himself again.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah. Tough.
He was weak and didn't care to look out for you. His family sounds like self-righteous religious a-holes. Is that who you'd want for your kid's grandparent? He needs to go no contact with them and continue therapy to heal from those relationships. If he won't, you need to make a choice of what you allow in your life, and that is the end of that story. My girlfriend's parents confronted me, and I'm unsure if I want to tell her.
You're in a pinch, buddy.
I have, male 25, been with my girlfriend, we'll call her Sally, 21 female, for around 6 months, and things have been going great. She is extremely sweet and gentle, absolutely adorable, and just the most thoughtful and caring person I have ever met. By the way, this comes from throwaway ashishish. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Riley.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, when we first started getting to know each other, I found out that she was quite innocent, in the sense that she doesn't understand most innuendos and has a hard time getting those kinds of jokes. She also doesn't smoke, drink, or have tattoos. She has never gone to a bar or a party and has never gotten in trouble in school or anywhere. At first, I thought nothing much of it, but I did find it interesting that she liked me in the first place, considering that I drank, have a few piercings and tattoos, just the opposite of her really. Everything had been going great until I met her parents a few weeks ago. Sally asked me if I wanted to meet them and agreed. I was excited to meet them because I figured that if my girlfriend was such a sweet person, then her parents must be like her too, since they raised her. Well, I was wrong, because her parents are nothing like her.
Oh, lovely.
At least not when she isn't looking. When I first met them, they were really nice to me and were asking me a few questions about myself, but they switched up immediately after dinner when they asked me if I could talk with them in private. They weren't so nice anymore and told me straight to my face that they didn't like me and they wanted me to leave their daughter alone. I was so confused, and when I asked them, they said I wasn't a good influence judging from my appearance. Like I said before, I have a few tattoos and piercings, but it's only a few ear piercings on both ears, one tattoo around my neck, one on my right arm, and one on my shoulder, but they couldn't see that one. I told them that I treat their daughter well and that what I did with my body was for myself and had nothing to do with my influence on their daughter. But they just interrogated me with a bunch of questions like a rice purity test, and it was so overwhelming. They spent a few minutes just berating me on my life choices and that they want me to stay away from my girlfriend. I told them I wasn't going to do that and asked if there was something I could at least do to prove them that I had no ill intentions, but they just kept berating me. After a while, it got awkward and all three of us just got quiet. And I kid you not, her parents go back inside to where my girlfriend was waiting and start acting sweet again. I just stayed quiet throughout the rest of the night because it felt so awkward. Sally noticed and she asked me if I was all right and got really worried, but I just told her I was tired. Now I can't stop debating whether or not I should tell Sally about what her parents said to me. I feel terrible keeping this from her, and a part of me wants to tell her, but another part of me thinks it's best to stay quiet and keep the peace and just try to make her parents like me over time. We have an update.
They're breaking up.
You think?
They're done.
What do you think, Keon?
It's a thing of, well, if they're never going to approve of me, maybe that's who they are, and I don't want to go up on that, fight uphill for that.
Mm-hmm.
But if she's worth it, I mean, at the end of the day, I think you gotta tell her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question, Keon.
Yeah.
If you saw
Riley,
Carly's
answer.
parents
Yes.
like twice a week
Mm-hmm.
and they said they don't like you, you're still dating Carly.
Great. Yeah. I'm like, 'cause I love Carly. They don't have to like me. That
Yeah?
sucks.
But,
But then if
like
it affects
Carly
Carly,
loves her parents, and even though they don't like you,
then
you're
that's
still like, we're gonna hang out together.
then that is Carly's choice. It's not my choice. It's not their choice. It is her choice.
See, if that was me in that scenario with Angie, I don't know if I could do it.
It does suck. It
yeah,
it
I
does
think
suck.
it's how big family is person to person too.
Yeah.
Like family is very big for you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how big it is for Kia.
Like
It
I
is
don't. Yeah,
big,
it was.
but it's
It was the
big
same
in a
thing.
different way.
It was the same
Yeah.
thing for me. If my parents didn't approve of who I was dating, I was like, okay, maybe you have your rights. Like you know
Yeah.
who I am, but that's for me, and that's who I want to be with. At the end of the day, I can make my own choices. If you don't like it, sucks to suck.
Yeah.
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 And then
Keon's
again,
parents are hard to tell if they like people or not.
Yeah.
After I posted and read the comments, I decided to tell Sally when she came over the day after I made my original post. When she arrived, I asked her if I could talk to her about something important, and she agreed. I then told her about what happened when her parents pulled me aside to talk. Some of the comments told me to lay it on her gently, so I did that. And I made sure to tell her I didn't hate her parents and knew they were probably just trying to protect her. She looked sad and guilty the whole time I told her the story and all the other stuff they'd told me. She looked really confused and disappointed, and she said she never thought they would be like that because they've always been nice to her and the friends she's brought home. I told her that it might be different because I'm her boyfriend, not her friend. We talked for a few more hours about it, and she kept apologizing for her parents' behavior and the things they said, to which I kept telling her that it was all right and that it wasn't her fault. She also told me that her parents might be acting this way because of her older half-sister that started dating this guy a few years back, and he ended up being a really bad influence on her sister. She didn't go into too much detail, but I knew from what she told me that it was really bad and messy. Now I can kind of see where her parents were coming from that night. Still doesn't fully excuse their behavior, though. By the way, if you guys want to be on your best behavior, go listen to more episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. Search up OK Storytime.
Boom. We're here.
There's just a little bit left. Final thoughts.
They're gonna. I don't know. This doesn't seem like it's gonna go very long.
I think they're going to be fine for at least a while. I don't think we're going to get a breakup in this
They're not gonna
story.
break up because of his parents.
Yeah.
well,
If she's living with him, that's gonna be a tough one.
well, here's the thing. She also needs to confront her parents about it and be like, hey, this is the guy I'm dating. Again, if you don't like it,
Yeah.
you don't like it, but
Yeah.
that's my choice. I'm an adult.
And
I'm-
two,
I'm not my sister.
if parents are pulling up saying this stuff about me, look, I do X, I'm doing this, I'm comfortable with myself. If you got a problem with that, that's on
Yeah.
you. But don't assume who I am if you don't know who I am.
I feel like there's a good chance, too, that the parents have a change of heart if the
Mhm.
relationship goes well.
Yeah.
Well, after Sally went home, she told me she had a long talk with her parents. Surprisingly, her parents didn't deny it, but they thought they were justified in what they did, which annoyed Sally. She told her parents to apologize to me in person, and after a bit of back and forth, they agreed and started realizing that what they did was unfair to me. So next week, I'll be seeing them, and hopefully it goes better than last time. I also showed Sally the original post when she came back to my place the next day, and she was reading all the comments and realized that her parents have really coddled her all her life, which is another issue she'll have to talk to them about soon. But anyways, that's the update. Me and Sally are doing great, and hopefully I can form a healthy relationship with her parents in the future, and that is the end of that story.
My fiance left me at a football match that I didn't even want to attend.
Time to become a football fan.
I don't watch or pay attention to sports at all. Not my thing. My fiance loves sports, especially football. I understand everyone has different hobbies and interests. Football is basically a religion here. By the way, this comes from Vent Throwaway for this. And if you want to submit your own stories, where do you got to go, Carly?
The OK Storytime subreddit.
I am Riley,
I'm Carly.
Did you forget your name? I'm Keon.
and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have the answers. I don't even know my name. And if you got anything you do differently in the comments, let us know. We read them. As OP says, he is always asking me to go to a game with him. I'm not interested in football at all, but since it was important to him, I said, yeah, why not? We went to a game with his brother. My fiance was excited because it was the first game of the season. We had 3 tickets, but when we got to the game, only 2 of the seats were together and 1 was somewhere else. I don't know how that happened. I thought the tickets were always for seats together. My fiance said he didn't know what happened. I ended up being the one to sit alone. I wanted to sit with my fiance, but he said the other seats were better, and since I didn't like football, it shouldn't matter where I sit. I hated it. I had strangers all around me, and a lot of them seemed like they were wasted. And no matter how many times I asked my fiance to have his brother switch seats with me, he said no. I ended up spending most of the game by one of the places that sell snacks and drinks instead of at my seat because a couple of the strangers were rude and I was getting nervous sitting alone. There was one security guard, but all he said was that it's normal for people at games to be loud and excited. I did not have a good time, and on top of it, my fiance and his brother basically gave me the silent treatment on the way home from Chicago because their team didn't win. My fiance says I'm overreacting and that football games are safe for women, so I'm blowing things out of proportion. He doesn't see a problem with me having to sit alone, and we've argued about it. I don't care if anyone reads this or not. I'm venting because most people think my fiance is right and say it's not a problem to sit alone at a game. I felt disrespected, and him telling me I'm overreacting is impacting our relationship. I'm fully prepared for people here to agree with him, but I had to vent somewhere. It's been almost 2 months, but I can't get over it. I don't even care if anyone reads this. Almost everyone I know says I'm overreacting. I know a couple of people who say my feelings are justified, but anyone who likes football seems to think I'm wrong and my fiance is right. Am I overreacting? We have one comment here. Is he always this self-centered and selfish? You don't show up to a game and just found out one ticket is somewhere else? We always know our sporting concert event sitting in advance. You know when we purchase them? I'm guessing someone, hint hint, knew the seating arrangements ahead of time and did not tell you.
Yeah, it felt very on purpose.
At least during this excursion, someone, hint hint, cared a lot more about their own happiness versus spending time with his fiance, teaching her a little about the awesome game, sharing the excitement and experience, making positive memories, and ensuring her safety. If this is regular behavior for him, I hope you haven't dated for many years because I would not want to look back at my life with regret for not pulling the plug and leaving the knucklehead sooner. If this is not regular behavior, then it's time for a sit-down conversation about why this wasn't okay. Adult, logical, respectful conversations are relationship-enhancing tools that we all need. Good luck, and God bless you, OP. Update 11 days later. Are they still together?
I think they are. I think this is just going to be their conversation. But breakup imminent, I hope.
If he does not understand where you're coming from and he just keeps devaluating, sorry, I couldn't speak there. If he keeps disrespecting you and your boundaries or how you feel, I would call it.
Yeah. It's the little things. It's how they treat you at a football game. Update 11 days later. My sister gave me a wake-up call. She asked me what I would say to our youngest sister if she were in my situation. Without even having to think about it, my answer was that she should leave that guy because he obviously doesn't respect you. It woke me up to how stupid I have been for staying and for not standing up for myself. If I would tell her to leave because she deserves better, why wouldn't I do the same? It opened my eyes about how I accepted my ex-fiance disrespecting me and not listening when I'm upset. And if you're upset, you can go to your favorite podcast platform. Search up OK Storytime on what platforms, Carly?
iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Music.
And I'm sure it'll put a smile on your face.
I'm sure.
Some of the episodes.
Almost 90 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa. We're getting to the triple digits here. Here's a little bit more. I broke up with him and have moved in with my sister. I knew they were going to. Wow. I kind of called that. You didn't see that coming.
Sorry, what? What do you go back a sentence?
I broke up with him and have moved in with my sister. They're done. They cut it off.
I saw it coming eventually, just not that quick.
Oh, okay.
And I think that the sister with the wake up call was good.
Yeah.
I thought she talked to her fiance, not her sister.
Got it.
And I think talking to the sister,
Yeah.
Liked
It was,
it.
if you love the game so much, why don't you just marry it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. The one who woke me up, not my youngest sister. She gave me 2 months worth of rent, so my ex-fiance couldn't say I was abandoning the lease on our apartment. He can sign a new lease in January or move out, but at least he can't use that against me. I don't know what I would do without my sister. She's going to help me pay for a therapist so I can talk about my issues with accepting my ex-fiance treating me so badly. I'm also stepping away from dating until I figured it out.
Good.
If you almost
Good.
got married to someone, do not get into dating
Yeah,
until a year and
You
a half.
gotta take a break.
Year and a half minimum.
Isn't it like
I do.
also dependent on how long the relationship was?
I do a month for every year. Me personally, I do 2 months for every year,
That's fair.
and then if it's like 2 months for every year until a year and a half, and then like year and a half is like, if I've been together with someone for like 15 years, I'm not gonna wait for 30 months to date someone. It'd be like
You might need 30 months.
you might, but
Yeah,
don't be
I get
jumping
your
in other
point.
people's pants.
Take time.
I appreciate all the support I got on my last post, and also everyone who told me I deserve better. I had my messages turned off because I got some nasty ones sent by people who are fans of the same football team as my ex-fiance. But I do appreciate everyone who told me that I wasn't overreacting and said I deserve better. Even though I don't know any of you, it really helped.
My best friend got jealous when I found love, so I walked away.
She should go cry about it.
My 23 female best friend, Megan, 24 female, and I have been friends since middle school. We always did everything together, and we were basically attached to the hip up until this past year. By the way, this comes from user WoolooDeFloof. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers to life's problems. We only know what we would do. So if you would do something else or something different or something new, hot, and fresh, just let us know in the comments. And OP says, neither of us really had boyfriends until I started dating my now boyfriend last year. We've been together for a year and a half, and things have been really great. I want to clarify that I am not that type of person that will abandon all of their friends once they start dating. I always made sure to show that she was still important to me by always reaching out, making plans to hang out, treating her to meals, and bringing her gifts whenever I was going on trips, etc. She overall seemed really supportive of my relationship, but then ends up admitting that she was jealous during the first couple of months. I thought nothing of it until things kept happening. I've noticed she would be a little bothered when I would text him back whenever we were hanging out, even though I would purposefully wait to text back to not upset her. That's weird.
That's weird. Yeah. There's levels to this because there is such a difference from like, I got a boyfriend, I dropped all my friends and I don't hang out or talk to them anymore versus like, I got a boyfriend and now my time is just split differently and my friends are mad about it.
She and I went on a trip with our friends who are also a couple, and during the 5-hour car ride, we all did our separate things like napping or scrolling on our phones, but we would also talk to each other. I would be on my phone occasionally, but I would also engage in conversation as best I could because I didn't know the topics very well. During a concert we went to see, I was sending my boyfriend clips of the songs being played, but I would still wait to text back like 10 or 20 minutes. She noticed this and didn't say anything, but stopped engaging with me during it. On our way home, she was riding in my car and she complained about my phone usage and how I could have been on my phone less and talked to her more instead. It turned into an argument, but I ended up apologizing, but I don't know if I needed to. When I went to a concert with my boyfriend, she was supposed to come with us, but she wasn't feeling well, so she didn't go. But I sent her clips of almost every song and photos of the band to make her feel like she was there, and she didn't complain about being on my phone then. A few weeks after this, she and I made plans to hang out, but I needed to go get my car checked after I got off work, so she suggested if I got out too late, we would cancel and reschedule our plans. Well, I ended up getting off an hour late, and she decided to cancel plans and reschedule. I was a bit bummed, but I understood and said no problem. My boyfriend and I were working at the same place, just different departments at the time. We are now at separate jobs. He just got on his break, and I decided to hang out with him for 30 minutes since I didn't have to rush anymore. She was asking what I was doing and where I was since I told her I had gotten home later and was going to the car shop. I told her I was with my boyfriend, and she got angry and said we had plans, but I chose to hang out with my boyfriend instead. I tried to remind her that she canceled, and it turned into an argument, and we didn't speak for 2 weeks. The day I got promoted at my job was when she reached out. I call my family to tell them the good news, and I get to one family member, and they ask why I got in a fight with Megan. I was confused since I didn't tell them anything about what happened. Then they tell me that Megan reached out to them and told them about our fight and about the trip we went on, the one where we both said things were good. I didn't know how to respond, but I felt so betrayed. This family member has been emotionally harmful to me in the past and always has something to say, and Megan has witnessed it happening to me a lot. I think she knew how to hurt me without actually getting her hands dirty. Well, that's fake because her talking to that person is her getting her hands dirty.
Why are we friends with Megan?
It sounds like Megan can't handle this anymore. Megan needs you both to be single.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, she's the kind of person that if she did end up going out with
Oh
somebody,
my God.
she would 100% drop you.
You'd be so dropped.
We ended up having a screaming match over the phone, and I hung up and just cried for hours in my car. Then Megan and I started texting again, and we had a very long phone call. We talked, and I ended up apologizing for a lot of things, but why would you do that, OP? Looking back now, I don't know if I was truly in the wrong on things. I then told her to never tell my family about our problems ever again, and she gave a hollow apology. We've only hung out twice since then, since May. Our last time was in July, and things have just not been the same. She has said very snarky, shady things, acted like nothing ever really happened between us, and she claimed that she was never bothered by my boyfriend, but I don't believe her. She tried to text me in August, but I couldn't bring myself to respond to her because I was dealing with my new role at my job and couldn't really process everything that happened. Now that I've stepped down, I was finally able to process everything and realize I don't want her in my life anymore. There's been too many things that have happened, and her behavior had changed to be more possessive, jealous, and insecure. She has her own boyfriend now when things kind of fell between us, so I don't think she's had any real time to reflect. She went from one attachment to another, and I realized how codependent and toxic our friendship was becoming. And I'll admit, I was also not a perfect friend. I've had my moments where I did things that were not okay. I'm planning to reach out and tell her everything about how she's made me feel when she gets back from her trip, but I don't know where to go after that. We haven't spoken since July, and I don't want to ghost her for much longer. Is this friendship even worth saving? I would rather send her a text, but I'm being told that talking to her in person would be better. I don't really know if this friendship is worth saving. What would be the best way to approach her to get my point across without making her feel attacked? And there is an update. What is your advice, Carly?
My advice is Megan's exhausting.
I think you
That's
can text this
Not
dude.
even
Like,
advice. This is totally a textable
you can at least
thing.
initiate it through text. Be like, hey, so our friendship has not been the same since I started dating.
Right.
I don't know if you feel that, but I feel that.
And she is going to probably immediately turn the blame. But then you sit back and you go like, hey, no, like, let's not just like attack each other. Let's have a normal conversation.
Yeah. I just feel it's been different.
Yeah.
And if she immediately gets defensive, you go, hey, I'm not trying to say that it's all your fault and that you suck. I'm just saying things are different. Don't you agree? Would we like to work on getting things back to how they were? And if she's not responsive to that, then yeah, maybe this isn't a friendship worth saving. It takes two. Update. Hey, everybody. Thank you to those who replied. And gave me some new perspectives on my friendship. It really meant a lot. So I ended the friendship with Megan. I knew I had to break my silence because she would keep asking people close to me about me and they would try to redirect her to talk to me, but she wouldn't and said I would just ghost her again. She also openly left every single group chat we were in together, including ones we haven't touched in years. So the exchange went like this through text. Hey Megan, I hope you've been doing well during all this time we haven't spoken. I know I've ghosted you for this long and I genuinely did not mean for it to go on as long as it has, and I'm truly sorry for that. Terrible start, not gonna lie. When you are ready and feel comfortable, we will absolutely have a talk about everything that's happened between us. Megan responded by asking, hey, so why did you ghost me in the first place? See, that's what I mean by that was bad. That was bad opening. Because you were like, I'm sorry I ghosted you and I really didn't mean to. Instead of that, you should just be like, hey, we've got a problem, right? We should address that, right? I would like to address it and maybe fix it. Do you agree? I don't know. And I don't really care because you broke off this friendship with Megan anyway. I explained that I didn't intend to ghost you at all, but the truth is that our friendship was becoming emotionally heavy for me, and I needed some space to process things on my own. I'm completely open to talking calmly about everything when you're ready to have that conversation. Megan then said that she honestly doesn't know when or if she'll ever be ready to talk with me about any of this. She's had months to move on from our friendship, and she took the silence between us as a clear indication of where our friendship actually stood. Immature. Baby-brained. I said, okay, I understand and respect that. I wish you the best in everything moving forward. Godspeed. And this happened 2 days ago, and I haven't heard from her since. My friend had pointed out that she completely glossed over the fact that I said our friendship became emotionally heavy and went straight to trying to take control of the situation by setting an undecided timeline on when she wanted to talk with me. And by the way, I have decided that you should listen to full episodes of stories like this one on your favorite podcast platforms, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, or wherever. All you got to do is search OK Storytime.
You gotta do it right now.
Do it right now. Do it right now. Do it. And there is a little bit left of this story. Yeah, your friend sucks.
Yeah, she sucks. And yeah, she'll grow up. She'll probably realize, but I
Maybe.
don't think there's any going back to this.
She might. She might not. Any friend that cared would have at least tried to reach out again, exactly, and ask if things were okay or why was I not speaking to her. And she didn't do that. She went straight to repainting the scenario in which I was at fault. So I'm confident that I made the right decision, and I don't even feel sad. I think I grieved our friendship back in May when she betrayed my trust, and since then I've done nothing but reflect on her behavior and actions this past year. Now I can wash my hands of her and not take her along with me in the new year.
Huzzah.
And that's the end of that story, and to that I say huzzah.
Huzzah. Yep, there's really nothing else to that. You did what you had to do, and
Yeah.
that was really the only outcome I saw from the beginning. My boyfriend shared our hobby with another woman, then turned on me.
Was it D&D?
My female 39 boyfriend, male 39, of 5 years, has picked up a hobby I dabble in. I was excited to have a joint interest, only to find out he's regularly doing it with a female friend while I'm at work. By the way, this comes from Soul Siren 22. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. As OP says, it's an activity that can be done solo or with someone as company. Just tell us the activity. When I started to be bothered by the amount of time they are spending together, and at the same time his diminishing investment into time with me, he told me that he prefers to do this activity in company, and since I am not available, he's doing it with this person. A couple of days ago, he proposed me to join him. There's the hair.
It
that's
just
on it.
really sounds so bad when it's this ambiguous.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
Just tell us.
We all know what it sounds like.
If it's just like you guys crochet together or something, like just tell us that,
Yeah, but it's
please.
like-
I happily agreed and pointed out that his technique got much better than mine, and so I'm asking for some patience from him. He then said that he will likely do it alone since he wants to feel unrestrained and have some quality alone time. We have spent 48 hours together before after not seeing each other all week. I pointed out that he told me the reason he was doing it with his female friend was because he prefers company and I'm unavailable, but now chooses to do it alone, leaving me behind. I also said that whenever we did it together in the past, I was happy to accommodate to his skill level. While I don't see that from him now. He exploded. Shut up! He exploded, accusing me of trying to back him into a corner, saying I'm holding him to his past statements, that they have nothing to do with present day. He feels he is free to do what he chooses in the moment, and resents having to explain himself to me, who he says is trying to mess with his head.
It really just sounds like it's you and a dozen other people in a dim room, and there's a lot of oil involved.
He later apologized and offered to do our common hobby together, saying he was worried about me feeling self-conscious regarding my now inferior skills. regarding my now inferior skill and didn't communicate it well. He says he isn't good at communication and that after such a long time of being together, I should be more understanding of it. I find this lack of reciprocity less and less palatable, increasingly unfair and stressful. How do I address this? And we have some comments. I still don't know what we're addressing.
I think it is like not even like with a joke, but it's like without knowing exactly what you're talking about, it's pretty hard to gauge because it's so
Right.
ambiguous. It's
Like,
like
What
we
level
doing?
of almost like betrayal is this? Like, is this a hobby that like takes a lot of time? Is this a
Yeah.
hobby that like it really doesn't make a difference if he's doing it alone?
Like, is there like, I mean, like, what level of like intimacy does doing this with a partner like, you know, not like you know what I mean? Not like bound chicka bound wow intimacy, but it's like, are you creating like a bond
Yeah.
with like this other woman or
Is it
something?
like a very talking, bonding experience, or is it just like we sit in a room and do it at the same time? Relevant comments. Commenter 1. It sounds like you're feeling left out and undervalued, which is totally understandable. You deserve to have your feelings heard and respected, not just brushed off. OP response. He says I'm acting like police and he shouldn't have to explain himself to me. That he expects nothing from me that he doesn't give. When I point out past examples where that is not true, he says that's different or says fair enough and is mindful for a week or two. After a while, he apologizes and says he didn't mean to hurt me, but it keeps repeating. Commenter 2 says, let's call it what it is. He's having an emotional affair and manipulating you when you point out his inconsistencies. His explosion wasn't about feeling backed into a corner. It was about getting caught in his lies. The poor communicator excuse is just another manipulation tactic to make you doubt yourself.
Some people really like getting caught in their lies.
He's gaslighting you. He does this hobby with another woman because he prefers company, but suddenly needs alone time when you're available. Then explodes when you point out this obvious contradiction. This isn't about communication or skill levels. It's about him wanting to spend time with another woman while making you feel crazy for noticing. Stop accepting his transparent excuses. He's not worried about your inferior skill level. He's trying to justify spending intimate time with another woman while making you feel inadequate. This isn't about hobbies.
But like it is though. That's why some of these comments get so off the rails, and it's like we literally have no information about what they're even doing.
Like
imagine this is just like a Tekken tournament or like a Mortal Kombat tournament.
Point
and
blank
it's
from
like,
the beginning, like the story is very much just like, I have a hobby. I'm not telling you that hobby. My husband also has that hobby. He's been doing it with some other woman. Won't do it with me though. What the heck? And like that's it. Like it's more about like spending time with you. Like why is he not spending time with you?
right.
This isn't about hobbies. It's about respect, and you're getting none. OP responds, thank you for your response. It hurts, but I needed to hear it. Commenter 3 says, in regards to what OP said about that, the F, so he's basically saying, I lashed out on you because I assumed your feelings regarding the situation. And inferior skill, LMAO, rude. He says he isn't good at communication and that after such a long time of being together, I should be more understanding of it. He's admitting he has this big flaw in your relationship and then somehow twists it into being your fault. You should be more understanding of it. How about since he recognizes he has this problem, he actually works on it himself? I also don't understand how you could possibly be more understanding. You communicated your thoughts clearly, and he responded by lashing out and accusing you of all sorts of things. So next time he wants you to just accept that kind of treatment, or what? How can you be more understanding of his inability to solve conflict and communicate? How do I address this? Stop letting him use these manipulation tactics on you. He shifts blame and then asks you to be more understanding. F that. Opie says, thank you for your answer. He says he should be free to do whatever he feels like in the moment, and that I shouldn't hold his past statements against him, because he's free to change his mind and do things differently than before. He first said I made things too complicated, so he decided to drop it. Then he said he was worried about me not having a good time, and rather said we don't do it. Commenter 4, so your boyfriend is building a new relationship with another woman, is trying to blame you for forcing him to spend time with this other woman because you are not available. Ask him how he's available to you, and maybe you should reciprocate if it is all that innocent by having your own buddy for your hobby and spend time with
Bro,
him.
why are people so upset that like men are able to make friends with women and that women are able to make friends with men? Like, we need to freaking get over that. Not every single friendship somebody makes is like nefarious.
Yeah,
That's
however,
a fact.
to like actually be serious for a second about this story, like I do think it's a problem if you go to your partner and you say, "Hey, I really feel like we haven't been spending time together and we have this shared hobby. I would love to do this with you instead." And then him
Right.
being like, "Well, actually, I really don't want to do it with you," but then he's spending all his time with someone else doing it. Yeah, that is a problem that like should be fixed.
Right. I was just spelling more to that
Yeah.
comment, but maybe you get your own buddy. It's like, dude, it's like, yeah,
we
maybe
don't
you
need
should.
to respond
Maybe you
with,
should
like-
just get a friend. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Of any gender. Get 2 hobby horse friends. I doubt he would like that. OP says he swore up and down to me that he is not cheating since it destroyed his family and he wouldn't do it to someone else. He says he's just happy to have a friend who shares a hobby with him and is easy to get along with. He admitted he wouldn't like it if I spent hours with another man every day, but he still does it with her. Commenter 4 says, well, he could share that hobby with you, but by now he is more advanced. So again, you are not worth it for him to help you level up. And you told him you don't like it and your opinion doesn't matter because he still chooses himself and her over himself and you. If a friend came to you with this story, what would you say to her?
You know what I would say to her? I'd say, what freaking hobby are you talking about? Because that honestly makes a world of difference.
At this
sitting
point,
here-
it truly does to
Right.
me, though. Like, is it something that's out in public? Is it something that's done
It's-
with a bigger group of people?
I can literally, I have my own like experience with this, and it was with pickleball. Like, I used to,
I hate
and I know you
pickleball.
hate pickleball, but it's like, it's just in the context of like skill levels.
Yeah.
It's like if you are more advanced at something like that's like a sport like that or a one-on-one thing, it is extremely boring or frustrating to play with someone way under your skill
Yes,
level because
But
there's no point.
yes, but she got him into this sport, and I do think there's a totally fair place to be like, still practice with your friends, still have your good level at this and everything. Can you do it with me so that I can advance to your level? Teach me, show me, help me, kind of thing.
And it's like, me personally, hate teaching. I'm terrible at it. So
Yeah.
I'd be really bad at that. But it's like, all of that is to say, it is almost impossible for us to give any sort of like realistically nuanced like opinion on this because we don't know what the hell you're talking about.
You have to take care of yourself, your own self-worth, and your own boundaries. His words mean nothing if he isn't taking your feelings into consideration and still goes and spends more time with her. Opie says he said he doesn't want to feel restrained, needing to adapt to my level, and wants to challenge himself. When I asked if she challenges him, the answer was, yeah, well, actually, no. In some parts. Why does it matter anyway?
All right, buddy.
It's the second that you say, hey, this thing bothers me. Can we talk about it? Can we spend more time together? And he's just immediately like, well, no, actually, I like the situation. And you're like, but I really don't. Can we just talk about it? And he's like, nah.
But again, it's like if the situation is like, it really.
You can still be upset about the
up
situation.
basketball. Let's pick up basketball. Playing against somebody and pick up basketball and they are no challenge to you is boring and not fun.
That's fine. I don't even think that she's at this point asking for time together doing just this hobby. She's like, can we spend time together?
Yeah. Well, then it sounds like it's like also like you need to spend less time playing with this person.
The more I read the comments here, the more I feel naive and stupid. Commenter 5 says, so you have a hobby that you two could do together, but instead he does it with another woman. That's so disrespectful. It's a hobby. He could wait until you're available. He just wants to spend time with the other woman. You should move on and find someone who wants to spend time with you. We have very different schedules, and they sync maybe once a week and every other weekend where we can do more than a morning cuddle and a bit of time before going to sleep. I can understand him doing the hobby in his off hours while I'm working, but I resent it when we could do it together or spend more time as a couple and he schedules it with her.
Yeah, that is pretty messed up.
Or they spend hours on the hobby, then meet other friends together and still go for drinks, just the two of them.
Where are you?
I would love to have that level of engagement from him, but I don't. We have an update, December 20th, 2025, nearly 13 months later. This was
Yeah,
recent.
okay. Honestly, like the very end there, like definitely. I would say, so it's like he's going out with his whole group of friends, and you're not like invited, or you're not going along. Like, what's that about?
So they are meeting up with the group at some point and then going off alone again. Uncomfortable as heck.
I take back everything I said about this guy in any positive way whatsoever. I think now at this point. Is that happening because, like you said, your schedules aren't synced up and you're like working or something? Because if that's the case, then
She said
I don't
that
know.
he
I can't
still
really hold that against him.
She said that he still chooses that even when it's time that could be spent with her.
If you could be at any of those places and he's actively being like, no, what are we doing?
About a year ago, I posted about my relationship situation where my partner got increasingly self-centered with minimal to no interest in me. I stopped investing effort that wasn't matched, as someone suggested, and started demanding more support and accountability. It got worse. He resented me for not being constantly available, started being mean and disrespectful, overtly prioritizing his friends, especially female ones, over me, blaming me for everything that was wrong, telling me I'm too hard on him because he forgets, and that's not something to hold against him. He started raising his voice at me, telling me I should just accept whatever he does. A few months ago, I went on a really intense business trip for a couple of weeks. Before that, he made sure he was busy and we couldn't spend any real time together. He said my leaving was not a big deal. As soon as I left, he started spending time with his friends, especially one female. He took time for a weekend trip days before his biggest project of the year was due and told me he did it because he wanted to. It finally hit home that he wanted a maid, not someone to partner with and appreciate. I confronted him about it and he broke up with me over the phone, saying he's bored being with me and my happy place. No drama. Makes him profoundly miserable. It hurt, but I was done anyway. My besties toasted to the breakup with champagne behind my back. God bless them. Turns out they couldn't stand him and how he treated me, but respected me enough to stay silent and just support me. I love them dearly. When he tried to backpedal, I didn't have it. He tried dating one of the girls he was spending time with before we broke up. Shocker.
Shocking.
It didn't go well, just as I predicted. Now he's circling back to me, saying we just had a crisis in communication and that he learned from his mistakes. He wants a do-over. And I am not having it. Turns out my life is calmer, more restful, and steady without him in it. By the way, you can have a calm, restful, steady time listening to more episodes of stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you know, OP, my only issue is that you haven't told us the hobby.
You still haven't told us the hobby, and for that, I will not forgive you.
Now he's trying to restart contact and pushing all the buttons he knows used to work. He doesn't realize that while he spent the last months working on his next conquest, I spent them working on me. And those tricks don't work anymore. We have some comments. Commenter 1, he mistook your piece for emptiness and his noise for value. The trash took itself out. You upgraded. His do-over is just a request to downgrade you again. Stay free. Opie says, that's the plan. Thanks. Downvoted commenter, so he ended up dumping you? That's just sad. Opie says, when I showed him I knew what he was doing, I told him it either changes or I'm out. He apologized, said we'd fixed it when I'd be back home, and then he broke up with me the next day. I think part of it was an effort to keep control. I'm okay with that. I have final control of my life and am enjoying my drama-free status. Commenter 2, he sounds like an adrenaline junkie who thrives on chaos. You are well rid of him. Opie says, yep, he told me he was bored out of his skull with me and just wished I would yell at him sometimes. I know he'd like it because it would have given him an excuse to yell back. It took a while to realize that a lot of stupid disagreements we had were just him goading me into an argument so that he could let loose and enjoy the chaos he was controlling. That era of my life is now over. Yeah, that's always a freaky thing. People who just like love to argue, so they push you to the brink of arguing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this guy clearly sounds like the guy who, you know, if there's not some sort of problem or some sort of drama, then it means that, like, it's boring or no, you're not passionate enough. There's not,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, and it's the same thing on, like, you know, the other side. I feel like it's like the other side of the coin of like, because this one, it's like this guy was clearly trying to like create drama, but it's like the other side of that coin, I feel like, is feeling the need to constantly overanalyze and work through like every thought or potential like feeling that you have in a relationship. Like, because it's like, oh, we just need to make sure that that's like super healthy or like super clear or like whatever. And it's like, nah, actually, you can just like vibe sometimes, you know?
Yeah, glad you got out of there. That seemed like it was no bueno.
My husband is being neglectful, and I'm starting to hate him for it.
Maybe it's time for divorce.
Things came to a head this year at the birthday party I threw him when his sister got wasted, sat on his lap, and I ended up having to take her home because she was too wasted to be alone. Starting off strong.
Starting off 100 miles per hour. I love it.
Yeah. I was really angry and hurt because I spent months planning the party and was hoping it could be a reset for our marriage after a rough few years. He told me that he was upset about how his sister treated me, and he would talk to her about her behavior and boundaries when he was less angry. By the way, this comes from Living Fun 8970, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Keon.
And OP says that conversation never happened, and he's acting like everything should be fine and I should just move on. But I can't. It's not just how she behaved at the party, but years and years of her treating my husband like her spouse and him prioritizing her and her feelings over me. I feel sad and trapped in this marriage, but I cannot leave him because I pay for the care of a very sick family member and it costs me tens of thousands of dollars per year. I make good money, but I take a huge hit with paying for care, and having grown up poor, I really do value financial security. We also have a child together, and I get so scared that they'll turn out like my sister-in-law if I cannot be with them all the time. To make it worse, his friends don't know what I've put up with for years, so they think that my reaction to his sister ruining the party was over the top, and my husband hasn't done anything to correct them, because that would require him prioritizing my feelings over his sister. I just resent him so much, and I'm scared I'm starting to hate him. I don't want to be alone with him. I don't want to be affectionate with him. I don't even like the sound of his voice. I'm in therapy to deal with my marriage not turning out to be what I wanted and to find happiness with myself while feeling trapped. But God, I can't stand him. I've started leaving the room when he enters or just looking at my phone to avoid any interaction. He will ask me if I'm mad at him or what's wrong, and I will lie and say nothing because there's no point in having the same conversation with no change for the millionth time. He refuses to go to couples counseling. Not that it will help because he doesn't believe in therapy. I look at him and I don't see a great man I married. I see an empty husk. This all started when we moved back to his hometown, and it feels almost like Arrested Development. I don't even know why I'm posting. Probably just to vent because I was looking at him this morning and I was just overwhelmed by how much I hate who he has become. And when I realized maybe this is who he always was and he was able to hide it when we lived in another city. I just feel sad, alone, and trapped. Advice? And there is an update, but oh boy.
I mean, I was going to say, oh, you could do therapy, couples therapy, anything,
Right.
or talk to him. Seems like you've done all of it, OP.
Yeah.
There's only one logical answer to do here. The fact that you hate the sound of his voice.
I know.
Oh, yeah, oh, his voice.
And you just like can't stand looking at him or being
Nails
in
to
the
a
same
chalkboard.
room.
Angie.
Yeah.
It's time.
It's time.
Divorce.
If that's the only reason you're staying is so that the kids
Yeah.
possibly don't turn out like his sister. I mean, one, that's kind of a risk anyway,
Yeah.
if she's being this overbearing and this close and
Mhm.
stuff. And two, I mean, you know, it's not a good enough reason to put up with all of this for that
Yeah.
slight chance.
Agreed.
I posted a couple months ago about how I think I hate my husband due to issues we've had in our marriage for years, including his mental health, and substance use struggles and his sister. After reading the comments, I spoke with a divorce lawyer and started making a plan to leave him when I had enough money saved up, probably sometime next year. I forgot that's also a big reason why she's staying is for financial reasons.
Good. You're doing the right things right now.
Yes. Then our son's birthday happened. We had a great party, but when we got home, we were exhausted. I got frustrated when I saw I had another mess to clean after I spent most of the morning before the party cleaning our house because it was a mess. My husband came upstairs and was immediately angry and told me that I ruined our son's birthday with my outburst. I just walked away and didn't speak to him for the rest of the day. The next morning, while I was getting ready for court and to take our son to school, he demanded I explain why I'm mad at him. I told him telling me I ruined our son's birthday because I expressed frustration at having to clean again when I was exhausted was unnecessary. Oh, wow. So that's it? She just got home and was like, oh, my God, it's so messy.
You didn't even ask your wife if you can help to clean.
Yeah, or just do it.
Or
like
just do it.
It's your house, too.
Yeah,
That's
I can see why you don't like him.
Yeah. He then went off and told me how difficult I am and how he's tired of living like this and he's done with this. I told him if he wants to divorce, then do it. I then left with our son to take him to school and I could go to work. Unfortunately, my husband called in sick and I knew I would be stuck dealing with him when I would get back. When I returned, I sat him down and told him that I was done with the way he treated me. I told him he thinks he's not mean because he doesn't yell all the time, but the way he handles conflicts with his sister and never sticks up for me, the fact that he can just casually say that I ruined my son's birthday and not get why I would be upset with him for that, the fact that he's never taken into consideration everything he's put me through with his mental health and substance use issues when I was the only one who supported him and made him get treatment, the fact that he's never been honest with his friends about his issues and is allowing at least one of them to think that I have a substance issue because I was angry with his sister about her behavior on his birthday. And the fact that he thinks that telling me I'm difficult and he's just done is all mean. Wow. I told him I don't deserve to be treated this way, and if he wants a divorce, I'm fine with it. I told him I will no longer tolerate how he treats me. I will no longer tolerate his sister and their gross enmeshed relationship, and I will no longer tolerate him allowing his friends to think poorly of me to protect himself and his sister. I told him I would rather be alone for the rest of my life than continue living with someone who treats me like he does, and if he's going to divorce me, to do it now instead of 20 years from now so I can have my life back. He got really quiet, and I locked myself in the office to work. A few minutes later, he knocked and asked to talk. He was crying and told me he was sorry. He was sorry for what he said the day before and that day, about his sister and him not standing up for me, about letting his friends think I have substance use issues when it's him and his sister. He asked me if I really meant it when I said that I would rather be alone for the rest of my life than be with him, and I said yes. He then started crying harder and said he doesn't want to divorce me. I told him threatening divorce because he's mad is unacceptable, and if he feels that way, he needs to be more serious about his therapy. Talk to his sister about her behavior with me present, and set the record straight with his friends about what's been really going on. He said he would do all of those things. We talked to his sister before Thanksgiving, and she is terrified of me now. She wouldn't even be in the same room as me, and I barely talked to her. I made him put the call on speaker when he talked to his friends about what happened. I'm also sitting in on his next therapy session to tell his therapist what happened. I'm still protecting myself by moving forward with saving money and making a contingency plan with my attorney in case this change isn't permanent. I've told him the moment anything goes back to how it was, I'm leaving and I will file for divorce. He's been so nice to me lately and is actually being supportive for the first time in years. I'm still very wary this is permanent and am prepared to leave if needed. I honestly love that his sister is terrified of me because for the first time, she's not acting like a jealous wife. A couple of his friends reached out to me privately and told me that they wished that they had known about his struggles so they could have supported me and expressed the same concerns about how his sister behaves around my husband. That was validating. I'm not talking to the friend who accused me of having a drinking problem and told my husband that I need distance from her because what she said was humiliating for me. And I hope you never distance yourself from us because we've got full episodes with more stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search Showcase Storytime. There is a little bit more to the story. I'm just going to jump right into it.
I think we already said our due diligence.
Hopefully this is permanent and he makes real lasting change. I hope him hearing that I would rather be alone than be with him made him understand how horrible he has been. I hope I can finally find happiness either in this marriage or out of it. I also want to thank everyone who provided such kind words and sage advice. I don't think I would have taken the steps to protect myself or found the courage to tell him how I really feel if it hadn't been for you. I never would have thought I would realize I don't deserve that treatment if it hadn't been for this subreddit. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. And that is the end of that story.
All right.
Dang. Yeah.
Things are going in a positive light.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Tread carefully.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if he just makes one wrong move or, goes back to his old ways, you know what to do.
Yeah, exactly. Good for you for like at least noticing these things. Like that in itself is like a big task. So good job for noticing what's wrong, noticing how you should not be treated, and not standing for it.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Do you hate him now? I mean, and like, I
Right.
mean, again, the fact that you're like, it's like I dislike him. It's like I hate his voice. I hate him.
Literally.
It's crazy. It's crazy got to that point.
Yeah. I feel like she's maybe giving him like another shot, but like if that feeling doesn't really go
This
away.
is like the final
yeah.
shot.
Don't
which-
try to convince yourself to shove that feeling away.
Yeah.
If you're going to.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
I cut ties with my cheating father. Now my brother is furious.
Does he not understand?
Since I, 35 female, was a baby, my father, 67 male, has never changed his philandering ways. I have grown up seeing my mother and father's toxic relationship. Yet my mother never kicked him out for all the 36 years of marriage, with my father being unfaithful. By the way, this comes from you, Throwaway17. And if you would like to submit your own stories, you can go to the OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Savannah,
And I'm Angie.
and we're here to give you some good advice, goofily. But obviously, we are not professionals. We're just telling you what we would do in this situation, so take it with a grain of salt. All right, let's get back to OP. I have been in countless therapy sessions as an adult due to depression caused by this. My mom has been keeping it strong and has only her friend and I to talk to for support. Last week, my father royally messed up by accidentally going on Facebook Live with his new mistress in see-through, very sheer clothing.
Oh God.
This was viewed by my sister-in-law, my cousins on both parents' sides, my mother's coworker, who they're friends with, and many other people in his friends list, including me, who lives overseas. I was so heartbroken, angry, sad, and to be honest, quite feeling vengeful for the past few days. I screenshot her image on his Facebook to send to him and confront him, as well as telling him that I am cutting ties with him, practically saying that he is now passed away to me. My brother, 29 male, found out from my mother, whom I have been in close contact with for emotional support, that I have cut ties with my father, and was furious because he thinks that family is family no matter what. I told him that my mother doesn't deserve us sticking with our father. What with all the pain he has caused her, and it's about time for someone to stand up for our mother. I love my brother, but I want to make him understand that what I did is for my own mental health as well as for my mother's, as well as to at least reclaim some of the dignity caused by my father's shameful act. Here's comment number 1. Your brother sees how your father behaved, yet after 36 years, he's still married to your mother. This is how your brother thinks successful relationships work, and he doesn't want you rocking the boat. Just a reply. He sees OP as the root cause of the problem because in his mind, the problem is OP causing a fuss. He doesn't see the dad's cheating as a problem. Comment number 2. Your brother doesn't have to understand it. You can't really make people agree with you, but you don't have to. You can just tell him, I'm not going to hurt myself for somebody else, even if they are family. If you don't understand that, that's okay. But I don't want to discuss it with you if you're only going to try to make me feel bad. If you think family is family no matter what, then I expect you to be supportive of me, your family. And if you think family is not family no matter what, then you might start to understand why I had to do this. The point is, set boundaries so you can get along with your brother without feeling bad, without falling into the same trap he did. He thinks he should get to change your view. He can present his view, but you get to decide for yourself, and he should respect that. While setting boundaries so that you don't feel bad when you interact with each other, which might mean agreeing not to discuss this issue together further. So, going to comment number 3. There is this thing that my mother-in-law, who is in the mental health field, told me. What others think of me is none of my business. It might seem like an odd thing to say in this instance, but hear me out. You will never truly be able to change what others think of you, and it's not really your place to, because their thoughts are their own and yours are your own. Let your brother think what he will. Let him be the one on the outer. Stand firm. If you feel the need to say anything, just point out that you haven't done anything that your father hasn't already done on his own, and that pointing out that you were the only one to finally say something doesn't make you the perpetrator. He needs to deal with it in his own way, and maybe he doesn't see anything wrong with what your father is doing because he has grown up with it,
going on, and now that someone has pointed out that it's unacceptable, his world has been rocked. You need time to deal with what your father did, and I am sure it wouldn't be easy for you to deal with your own feelings while also assisting your mother to do the same. But what your father did must surely be a double-edged sword for your mother, because the added embarrassment of him posting it on Facebook for the world to see. So, I think you and your mother should seek some counseling to help you through all this. Agreed.
Yep.
Give your brother some time to work through all of this on his own. Try to talk to him again when the wound is not as fresh. Update!
Oh, let's do it.
Thank you, Redditors, for your support and kind words. Yes, my brother seems like he has also taken after my father's lifestyle. My brother's ex saw the video as well of my father and knew that I would need someone to talk to, as she was like a sister to me. We have been friends for so many years, even after their breakup. She told me about the reason why they broke up, and now it made total sense. My brother was not loyal to her either for the past 5 years that they were together. She broke up with him after he cheated on her the second time. My home country does not have divorce, only annulment that is available. And it is quite long, tedious, and expensive. Unfortunately, my father still lives with my mother, thus will not be visiting home ever. I found out that my father had 2 mistresses, and out of anger, I sent the screenshot of my father's live video of side chick 1 to side chick number 2. I told both women that I promised not to tell their husbands and children if they return any gift of value that my father has given them, and hand it to my mother to make sure that she can sell or pawn them.
Okay. That's a way to
Wow.
do it.
I mean, yeah. She's like, listen. I mean,
Yeah.
she did like the Reynolds pamphlet in
Right.
Hamilton.
Literally, yeah.
Listen, you can keep seeing my
Yeah.
wife.
She's like literally blackmailing them.
Yeah. You know, just let her keep the money.
Right.
I was able to track mistress's family's info.
Oh my god.
Needless to say, my father is now also in hot water with both mistresses, aside from my mother, who is now only keeping him in the house so long as he gives her all of his retirement money as payback for all the pain he has caused. As crushed as I am to have done such, I am happy to at least see my father in this dilemma I have created for him. I have told my brother my reasons and told him that I understand his position, but that is not going to change my decision about me cutting ties with my father. By the way, I know what you can tie together and give to someone for Christmas. You can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, anything, your favorite podcast app, and search OK Storytime. There is another update, but what thoughts? What are we thinking?
Opie, I think you're so petty, but I really like what you did. I usually don't like, those petty responses and stuff, but honestly, like,
He deserved it.
yeah, he totally deserved it. And because really, I feel like you would probably want to do that anyway. Of like, if your mom didn't know, for instance, like you would want your mom to know, and you would tell him like, okay, dude, you tell her or I do, and so you're kind of just doing that with the other mistresses.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't have the same obligation to them as you would your mom, but like, still, it's like you're really just, you're advertising his work. So you're really just like,
Which he was already advertising, by
yeah,
the way.
on live, literally, yeah, that was so crazy. Like, what did you want to have happen?
Yeah,
with this?
like he literally did it to himself, and you just like literally got him the views that he wanted.
Right. And you're just like reaping the benefits now with all this other
Yeah,
stuff.
now it's
that
like,
these
okay,
people are
give my
getting.
mom the money.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, back to what OP has said. I have also advised my mother to seek actual professional help, as my mental health is not at a good spot since I have been her sounding board for so many years now, which is hard. Otherwise, I asked her if she can speak to her sisters about it, as I am not mentally and emotionally equipped to handle this anymore. I have also blocked my father from all social media contacts and from contacting my children, 8 and 12-year-old girls. My boyfriend has been with me throughout this entire ordeal and has been very supportive of me and my decision. He was also my voice of reason and talked me out of my recklessness so as to not contact any more of my father's mistresses to avoid further pain on my side.
It's like, but I want revenge.
Yeah. That's actually hilarious. But there's only 3 more I have to, like, figure out.
Like, hold me back. I gotta talk to these mistresses. Oh my god.
That's it's not funny, but,
I think it is.
Making light of a situation, all right, guys?
Making light of a terrible, terrible thing. That's pretty funny.
Right.
All right, here's some comments. Comment 1. Did you confront your brother on his cheating? OP responds, yes, I did. He said he and his ex were working 2 different schedules and they drifted apart. That he never meant to have a lapse in judgment. I called his BS and told him that his ex was lucky to have gotten out of their relationship before they even married. She was a wonderful girlfriend and cared for my family genuinely. He married the girl he cheated on her with. I barely talked to her and she knew that I never liked her because I found it fishy that my brother has 1, moved on so quickly, and 2, proposed less than a year of them together. I knew
Ugh.
something was fishy.
Yeah.
I openly call his ex-sister and her child with her new husband niece. His wife hates it because she wants me to call her sister, to which I refuse because we never had a bond to begin with anyway. Comment number 2. Good for you. Feel free to cut out the toxic brother too. Sounds as if he is headed down the same path. So why allow him around your children? Avoid all the toxicity. OP responds, I only talk to my mother now as far as I'm concerned. I only have 1 family member now, and that is my mother. Aw, I'm sorry it didn't work out with your brother.
Right.
But it seems like he's just going down the same path. So honestly, if it took you like the 36 years of like doing it with a dad, like it's honestly, you shouldn't have to wait another 36 years if it's going to be the same exact thing, you know.
Right.
Just a different person doing the same thing to you, you know.
Right.
I feel like you have the opportunity, you know the signs, you know what you want in your life and what you don't.
Exactly.
Oh, and that is the end.
My boss pushed me to the edge and I finally snapped.
Ooh, what'd you do?
I wanted to share my story before I face a big day in my life tomorrow with my management team. I've been around self-absorbed people my whole life. I may not have known it at the time, but after a lot of therapy and introspection, I realized they've been around me more often than not. I was raised by a self-absorbed person. I've been in romantic relationships with many, and now I'm working for one. And by the way, this comes from Less Command 300. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We're just going to guess what we would do in this situation. But let us know what you would do in the comments. So, OP says, I've been with this company for 5 years. I was signed off from work for most of last year following a mental breakdown after surviving a 3-year relationship with the most dangerous self-absorbed person I've encountered to date. I was in the hospital for 3 months.
Oh my God.
Jeez. I got out, got clean and sober, and got back into work slowly. I love my job, and with a lot of hard work on my part, not only did I settle back in, I started to thrive. And then everything changed. I was assigned a new team leader. This woman has been here for years, but this is the first time that I've ever had to work with her. The discomfort I feel from simply being in her presence is intense and oh so familiar. At this point, I'm aware that maybe I've been around these types of people for so long that I'm just scared everyone is like that. But the patterns are so obvious and distinct. From the moment I started to excel, something switched. In front of watchful eyes, she's the nicest person ever. Behind closed doors, it's picking holes in my work, putting me down, not taking accountability when pulled up on her own behavior, and the way she talks to me, dismissing my feelings and making me feel like I'm the problem. I've been reduced to tears 3 times in the last week, following interactions with this woman. Historically, I would have suffered in silence, taken substances to numb the pain, or called in sick to avoid the issue altogether. But last week, I snapped. I had reached my limit. I went home in tears again, composed myself, then composed a long, polite, and assertive email to higher management. I attached the emails that my team leader had been sending me and examples of my work that weren't good enough, despite feedback from my colleagues saying differently. I said that I refuse from this point on to be in a room alone with this person again, and that I have no interest in a mediated conversation where my feelings can be invalidated because of a breakdown in communication or whatever spin they choose to put on it. I kindly requested that it be arranged so that I can report to someone else. The other team leaders I've worked for previously are lovely, and I have never had this experience with them. I also made it clear that if this request cannot be accommodated, then I will be leaving the firm. I got an email back from the big boss, for lack of a better term, thanking me for speaking up and saying they would refer to HR and get back to me. Okay, action is being taken.
That's great.
I can only assume they are doing this to cover their own butts, as I'm not interested in going to war or raising complaints. I just want a solution. Yesterday, I got a message from one of the managers. I get on well with this person, and he has always spoken highly of me and my work. He said that after speaking with HR, he would now like to speak with me face to face in the office tomorrow, just us, which I accepted. Do we believe that that's happening?
I'm just kind of like at the point where it's already to HR. I
Yeah.
don't think that there should be that meeting to like
Yeah.
resolve things without HR, because the whole point of HR is
Right.
to have that mediated meeting.
Right.
So why is he trying to like go around
Yeah,
that to be
exactly.
like, we can meet before that meeting? It just worries me a little.
Right. Yeah, because it's like, even if OP said that like she wasn't interested in meeting with HR,
Right.
it's still like, if you're gonna push for a meeting, you should push
Right.
for that meeting.
It still went to the point of like HR was discussed. So now I'm kind of
Right.
like, if we're gonna have one, let's bring
Yeah.
him in.
a little skeptical. I did a little calendar snooping and can see that he has a meeting with the team leader a few hours after mine. It's important to note that during my ill health last year, I was under the occupational health team's umbrella. I know people will have their opinions on this next statement, but I have been open and honest about my mental health and regular use battles with selected management from the get-go. I've always been of the opinion that no one can help me if I don't tell them what's wrong. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And of course, there is the classic, this is a safe space mantra, which I've always been a sucker for. So, tomorrow's the day. I will either get a solution where I can report to someone else and carry on with my job, or I'll be coming home and touching up the old CV. Regardless, this has all gone too far, and I have worked too hard to go through this all over again. I have too much to lose now. I would rather deal with the insecurity that comes with unemployment than the insidious emotional turmoil that these monsters go around inflicting on people. It's a shame, but I know how this goes. The only way to win with these people is by not playing. A job is a job, and if I do leave, they will already be looking for replacements before I'm even out the door. Nothing is worth risking my well-being, my sobriety, and my quality of life for. And we do have some comments, but do you have any comments before we get into those?
I guess I never really would have thought about like going to your boss about like previous like substance use and stuff. But I could totally see how that would be good for like if there's company parties or something, like just
Right.
being like heads up, like maybe it's
Yeah.
not at a bar or something
Yeah.
like that. Like so I think that's a good idea to something to
Yeah,
do. Not
I
really
agree.
related to the story, but
I mean,
new
yeah,
insight.
yeah,
For
totally.
me.
Right. I mean, especially if like, you know, if she got out of that bad relationship and was in the hospital for 3
right.
months,
That's
like,
a lot.
yeah, like if anything were to come up again, like, it, you know, if she were to fall back into her old ways or something,
Yeah.
then it's like at least they know, so they can, you know if she like leaves for a day or
Yeah.
something like that. Like if she just
Exactly.
doesn't show up to work, she can like explain and they would already know about the situation. But yeah, I think you're right. Your quality of life should not be risked for this situation. And I think the fact that you said that you do not want to be in a room alone with her again, I think that's huge.
That says everything that you need to, right?
Yeah,
there, honestly.
honestly.
Like you should always have safety at work. Like you shouldn't
Yes.
feel threatened by someone that you're
Yes.
there with.
Yeah, totally. We do have some comments. Comment number 1 says, I feel your journey is like mine. I was struggling between highly competent contributor to dreading the next meeting. I left and my boss showed their colors at the end. Haven't heard a peep since. This won't be your last self-absorbed person, but it could be the last time you struggle with one. OP replied, I really liked your last sentence. I hope that is the case. Struggling is exhausting and I feel like I'm never moving forward. And we do have an update. Okay,
Okay.
let's just jump right into it.
Yeah.
Now, for some good news, I had my meeting and it was interesting on so many levels. Okay.
Okay.
Interesting. I had been preparing for the worst since it was scheduled in my calendar. I've been so used to having my feelings dismissed and invalidated that I had no reason to think this would be any different. And then something wonderful happened. My manager listened to me, asked me questions about what I needed, asked questions about my story outside of work, much of which he knew about already, but there were significant gaps to fill in, and he empathized with me on every point I made. I wasn't met with a look of confusion that suggested I was being overdramatic or that I was the problem. He couldn't go into too much detail for obvious reasons, but he wasn't shocked by anything I was telling him. Oh, wow.
Great then.
Yeah. So this is
Okay.
probably, we've gotten some other complaints about this person.
Yeah.
Wow. He said that this was already on his radar and that Things were happening in the background with this person, and then my case simply added to the pile and gave him more to go with. Wow, I feel a firing coming on soon. He immediately made arrangements so that I only have to report to him whilst he finalizes the official bits and bobs, and he assured me that I will never have to refer to this woman for anything ever again. Wow, how wonderful.
Amazing.
Such a relief.
Switch up from some other ones that we've read.
Right. He even went a step further and worked with me to make a contingency plan in case there's ever an occasion where I may have to report to her on rare occasions where there's a shortage of supervisors due to annual leave or sickness.
Wow.
Wow. He checked in on me throughout the day to make sure I was okay, told me that I had done nothing wrong, and that my quality of work was more than satisfactory. This man will never know how much he has truly given me today. He has given me safety, validation, and for once in my 33 years, my inner child has not only been heard, but also supported. It's the strangest and most wonderful feeling. And you could feel so wonderful if you listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. But there's a little bit more to this story, but wow.
It just went so well.
Everything is going amazingly.
Everything's great.
This is an amazing boss.
The A+ boss.
A+.
That is like exactly how to handle that, I feel like.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. There's a little bit more. I want to finish with a message to anyone who may be going through a similar situation. Please speak up. I can't say that your result will be the same as mine, but the biggest thing I took away from that meeting is that other people have suffered because of this woman's behavior. For all I know, my case may be the final straw that gives my manager the ammunition he needs to implement real change. It's terrifying, and if you're anything like me, speaking up for yourself is a foreign concept. But please, just do it for yourself, and who knows who else you'll end up helping in the process. I'm asleep like a happy baby tonight. And there are a few comments. I'm super happy for you. I'm hopeful one day I can be as brave as you to stand up and say my mental health is non-negotiable. I too have been brought up by a self-absorbed mother, and the gaslighting and trauma really did a number on my interactions at work. I worked myself to the bone to prove my mother I care and love her. Likewise, I worked myself to the bone to prove to my workplace that I am a hard worker and team player. All this hard work has gotten me nothing but offhanded comments at my work on my not so great mental health days. And that's the end of that story.
My best friend betrayed me at my wedding, so I ruined him the same way.
What did he do to you?
I, 27 male, have a best mate of 20 years, 27 male, who we'll call Luke. We have practically grown up together and we considered each other family. In the past couple of years, I have begun to resent him a little bit, more on this later, but we have gone through so much together that I regarded him as a brother, so I tolerated him. By the way, this comes from Objective Fix 3413, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We're just going to guess what we would do in the situation, but let us know what you would do in the comments. So, OP says, we are part of a close circle of friends, and we've all known each other since primary school. As such, we have been on many holidays together, lived together, some of us went to the same uni. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that we're all really close and trust each other with a lot. Something super personal and intimate because we think of each other like family. To that point, I met my now wife, Beth, 27 female, 5 years ago at uni at a coffee shop, and I fell hard. We moved in together after we graduated, and I proposed to her after we were dating for 4 years, and it was one of the best days of my life. Wow. I had done some things that I'm not proud of when I was younger. Lots of partying, substances, drinking, and the stuff which usually follows that. And since I turned 20, I really tried to be a better person and make better decisions with my life. Luke also met his now wife, 27 female, Claire, at the same time as Beth and Claire were also friends, but they started dating around a year after us. This meant that as a couple, we were really close. We did a lot of things together as couples, made some good memories and some bad ones. After our 2-year anniversary, we met up with Luke and Claire for dinner at our place. We were drinking and having a good time. We went around the table saying things, and it fell to me last. I told a lie as I had not yet disclosed my prior transgressions to Beth yet, and I was waiting for the right time. Wrong of me, I know, but part of me was scared what might happen if I did. And of course, Luke knew this. As you can imagine, Beth was not happy with this, and just to make it worse, Luke then decided to rattle off 3 other times that I had again done something dumb. I don't really want to make them too public. As I said, I'm not too pleased about them, but rest assured, if you were getting blindsided by this info, you would not be pleased. Anyway, that ended the dinner awkwardly, and Beth was mad at me for not telling her this previously, and she went to stay at her parents'. Oh wow. This is what started my hatred of Luke. I accept my part in not telling Beth about this because I knew it was wrong, but someone who I considered family didn't even give me the opportunity to tell my future wife about this in the right way, and just blindsided us both. I let it slide because all I really cared about was Beth, and part of me knew that I was more to blame for this than he was. Me and Beth made up, and I told her about all the other things that I did and regretted, and what I've been trying to do since to make up for it. The biggest problem with Luke is that he will always put himself first. He never seems to think or care about what other people want or may think about something. As long as it benefits him or he thinks it's funny, then he'll do it. For example, he will ask to borrow money, but if you ever went to him for something, even as low as £5, he will make some excuse why he can't. He likes to make very personal jokes about people. I'm a short guy at 5'6", got screwed there, and he will always make jokes about my height. I'm usually okay with this because people have been doing it for over 20 years, and I can see the humor, but he has no idea where the limit is and will always carry on no matter the situation, even if he can see it is making me physically uncomfortable. If I was to make a passing joke about his hair, then he would get all moody and sometimes angry. Fast forward a year and a half, and me and Beth are in a great place. We had just moved to London for better career opportunities, and I proposed to her shortly after we moved, and thank God she said yes. Woohoo! Congratulations! Yay! I decided to make Luke my best man against my better judgment, as my parents were very keen on it, and we honestly needed their money to pull it all off.
Okay.
Nice. Coming up to the wedding, I spoke to Luke and Claire specifically and asked them, not just as a friend, but as family, not to mention one of the things that happened on our lad's holiday in his best man speech. In summary, we ended up doing a lot of partying, and me and one of my other mates in our haze ended up getting a spicy worker. Not proud of this, but at least this time Beth knew about it beforehand, but my family did not, and I wanted to keep it that way.
I was just going to be like, and does Beth know this one?
Right.
But she does, and I could totally understand, like, I'd be like, that's just stuff that doesn't need to come up in a speech after you've married someone that you love.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if she knows.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, if the reason that he didn't want that to happen is because he didn't want Beth to know, then I was like, okay, dude, like.
I was like, nah, full send, say it.
Yeah, right?
Tell her before the wedding.
Yeah, absolutely. But I totally understand that you don't want your parents to know.
Yeah.
I think that's totally fair.
I can appreciate that just being, like, a really tacky tactic for a speech.
Yeah.
Like, we just
like talk about our we have so many years together.
Right.
Talk about our childhood, not our
talk
bachelor
about a goofy
party.
memory.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not super close to my family, primarily because they are very opinionated and will always give me their opinion on personal things and get annoyed with me when I don't agree, even if it's something which does not concern them in the slightest. He apparently understood and said that he would not mention it. Don't like where this is going. Well, no surprise here. On what was supposed to be the best day of our lives, Luke ruined it by mentioning this very thing. Luke, what are you doing?
What are you doing? He asked you to do one thing.
One thing, dude. Honestly, when it happened, I was not surprised. He was laughing while talking about it, and when he glanced at me, he could see the rage in both mine and Beth's eyes. In an awkward 5 minutes, no one laughed at any point in his speech, and when he sat down, he was visibly embarrassed, as he should be.
Yeah, like boo-hoo.
Yeah. My so-called brother did the very thing that I asked him not to do on our wedding day. My family was not pleased with this information and did not hesitate to make that clear to me after the dinner, and my 86-year-old grandparents, who were the only family I was really close to, left early. Oh my gosh.
What are you doing?
Like, I feel like that's so obvious not to talk about. Like, if you're at a group of friends or something like that, like if it's a friends-only wedding, then sure, go ahead.
Even then, though, I'm kind of just like, it's not something to be talked about in that speech.
It's really not. And it's like, especially around family and her family too. Like,
right. It's the same kind of thing when people will bring up like past girlfriends or boyfriends in their speech.
Yeah.
Like, so glad that you're not with. So like, why are we talking about this?
We've moved on.
Not the place.
I was crushed by this and consumed with rage, but I did not want to spoil my wedding, so I asked Luke and Claire to leave, and sensing my mood, they thankfully obliged. The rest of the wedding went all right, but after the speech, it was already ruined for us as everyone wasn't really in a mood anymore. My family were obviously pissed about that story, and my friends were pissed at Luke for blatantly ignoring what I asked of him. I didn't speak to Luke much after the wedding as he could sense that I was done with him, but Beth kept in touch with Claire, which I was okay with because I knew it wasn't Claire's fault. Anyway, on to the good bit. Last week was Luke and Claire's wedding. When planning the wedding, Luke asked me to be his best man for his wedding to extend an olive branch. Note that at no point did he apologize for what he said or accepted he was wrong. I agreed, not because I cared about him in the slightest, but because I was going to do to him the very thing that he did to me. Oh boy. Oh boy.
See, now,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with revenge,
Right.
but I think you've already done it at the time of this story.
Yeah, right? I fear it is too late just to stop
I think
you.
it is.
Vindictive, yes, but I didn't care. He ruined the best day of our lives because what? His ego? There was literally no reason to do what he did, but he did it anyway. When Luke was 18, on a night out, he got with an older woman who was married with 3 kids. Oh boy. The husband found out and tried to fight Luke, but he got the better of him and ended up sending the guy to the hospital. Oh my god. Safe to say, they got a divorce, and Luke practically destroyed a family and had no regrets. I'm so scared for this.
I'm like, honestly though, dude, why are we friends with Luke?
yeah,
Why are we friends
honestly.
with Luke so long to the point, like, I get it, you grew up with him.
Right.
He's proving time and time again to be a terrible person,
Yeah.
and we're keeping him around.
Yeah, I feel like if you wanted to get revenge on this guy, just like back out at the last minute or something. Like
Yeah,
that's all you.
honestly,
That's
cause them the little panic stress on the day
yeah,
of.
and then
and
that's
then,
it.
Yeah.
And then be done with his friendship. Like
then block him. You don't need to be
Yeah.
talking to him ever again.
right. The best thing about this story was he didn't actually tell me not to mention it, and I knew Claire would never know about it. I don't like where this is going.
No.
She grew up Catholic. While she is not practicing Christianity, her family is. So on the day, I stood up and shattered his world. No! I looked him right in the eye as I started it, and I could see the smile drain from his face when he knew where it was going. When I finished it, it was just as awkward as my wedding, but I sat down with confidence because I knew everyone there knew why I shared that story. I enjoyed the rest of the wedding with my mates who all supported what I did. Not their girlfriends and fiancés, but can't win everything. Luke did not look at me once after, as he knew that there's nothing more to say between us. A week on from the wedding, I have not spoken to Luke at all, and I don't want to. I apologized to Claire in person, as it was her wedding day too, and I did feel like it wasn't fair on her to be caught like that, but I explained how I felt about Luke and what he had done at my wedding, the dinner that night. And by the way, I'm about to explain to you that you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. And there is a little bit more to the story, but yeah, poor Claire, man.
Yeah, I want to know what her, like, response to that was.
Yeah.
Because, like,
It's her
I don't know.
wedding.
I get that it might have been the only way to, like, get Luke to realize the pain that he's been causing.
Yeah, and maybe be sorry, I guess.
But there's almost like, I wish maybe it could have been done at like a rehearsal dinner if you really wanted to, or like somewhere else that you toast if you really wanted it to be wedding related.
Right.
Like, why did we have to do it at the like day? Because you knew how crappy it felt.
Yeah, but there is a little bit more to the story. Beth and Claire had the same opinion. They understood why I did it, but they're not really happy that I didn't tell them about it. Luke and Claire's parents called me the day after and screamed down the phone, calling me an a-hole for exposing Luke like that, but I laughed back at them. I reminded Luke's parents that they were at my wedding and saw what he did, and it was rich for them to rip me a new one, and despite their son doing the same thing and them saying nothing to me about it on the day after. I don't think that I'm the a-hole here. Sure, immature, I will accept that, but I do have to ask, am I?
But that's the end of that one.
Yes, it is.
My husband refused to support my legal battle and expects me to move on.
From what?
So my husband, 28 male, and I, 30 female, get into this same fight every few weeks for the last 8 months. He thinks I am being a petty, vindictive a-hole and am so consumed with revenge. By the way, this comes from Cautious Chipmunk 565, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia,
I'm Carly.
and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. Last year in October, my dad passed away. My little family of husband and kids live in a different state than the rest of our families, but we decided we wanted to elope. I know we did our life backwards, but whatever. We dropped the kids off at my dad's house, did a week by ourselves, got married, then picked up the kids to do our last week of a honeymoon as a family vacation, visiting my in-laws and sharing the news. On the last night, my dad passed away and we had to drive back. My dad lived with my cousin, renting a house from some friends. My dad had a girlfriend for 4 months prior to his passing who immediately moved into the house and claimed to live there. I was there 5 days before his passing and she did not live there. My dad never wanted to live with another woman, especially since he was still married and sleeping with my mom. My mom and dad separated during the pandemic, but were still really close. It's really messy. All 4 of them, the couple that owned the house, my cousin, and my dad's girlfriend, did everything they could to keep us out of the house. My siblings were kicked out within 12 hours of him passing with the muscle reinforcements of a neighbor. They let me into the house to look for his paperwork the following day when I rolled into town, but I had to wait on the porch for several hours. My keys and code no longer worked. I found out they rekeyed the doors and locked the garage. Once in the house, I found that pews were missing and that paperwork was gone from his safe. I know this because my paperwork that I had just put into the safe a few days before was also missing. I was then strong-armed into handing over all my dad's cash that was in the safe, which was $5,500 to his girlfriend, who was telling everyone it was her tip money. In reality, it was the money from the sale of his motorcycle that finalized 2 days before his passing. Who keeps their tip money all in crisp hundreds? I knew from previous conversations with my dad and from signing his will that I was the executor of his estate. Others knew it too because he was vocal about his wishes. I was then told by my cousin that I was not allowed to touch anything and I needed to come back with paperwork that left me in charge of my dad's estate. This took about 3 weeks to get, but I would have had it that night if someone had not gone through his safe. They even went as far as to threaten to have me trespassed from the property when I came to get my clothing for my father's wake. My grandparents even sided with the cousin and threatened to call the cops themselves. Literally let them. You're the executor. Let them call the cops. This really threw me for a loop because we were always really close. I am one of the only family members that live in town with them. I see them often with the kids and we call each other once a week. As another layer to this crap show, the couple my dad was renting from were close friends of his. My dad was a silent investor in their automotive business. My dad and them had promissory notes for $20,000 that was legit, and at the time of his passing was already past due for repayment. My dad was heavily in medical debt, credit card debt, and was a minimalist. His total estate before debts is under $65,000, and after debt repayment, we will be lucky to cover legal fees with probate. He was not rich by any means, but he was extremely generous even when he should not have been. So $20,000 is a lot of money in this scenario. The couple went on telling people that my siblings and I were gold diggers and only after my dad's money. How would you know they did this, you may ask? Because they called a mutual friend that had come over and our friend put it on speaker. We all heard them laugh about us out of the house, mock my siblings as they cried, and call us gold diggers for asking about where things were that were already missing from the house. We were all really paranoid because my dad passed at work and his friends found out and flooded my dad's scene. People were going through his desk at work and had already taken his sidearm and his jewelry the coroner placed on his desk. As we waited for the paperwork, I was going through my dad's belongings on his desk and went through his work computer. From there, I logged into his security cameras that were at the house. I downloaded and saved all the videos from outside and inside the house. I overheard 40 hours of my cousin and various other people talking about how if they could keep us out of the house long enough with tenant rights, they'd be able to keep my dad's belongings. My cousin has a major gambling problem, which is why I wanted to pack up and secure everything the first day I got there. I also heard packing, which violated our agreement we made with lawyers and later our TPO. We also got to hear hours of defamation and vile lies they told our friends and family. Because of this, the night my dad passed away, the rest of our extended family passed away too. 2 people on my dad's side of the family said, "I'm so sorry you lost your dad." Everyone else either cut ties with no conversation or sent horrible hate mail because we had started a GoFundMe and embarrassed the family, making my father look destitute. They said we were frauds for doing so because our grandparents are wealthy and they would take care of it. They did not. They didn't even offer to. They cut ties with us after the funeral. With all of this rage that is built up inside me, I became obsessed with reading all of my dad's communications for the past 4 years since my parents split and started making a very in-depth timeline of everything. I started discovering lies and forming just general WTF questions. OP's got her little red yarn and a pinboard.
Specifically the scene where he looks so frazzled
Yeah, he's like,
by it and his hair's
"You don't understand! You don't understand! Everyone's colluding against my father!" Opie continues, "I found out my dad's new girlfriend is a straight-up fraud with stolen valor. I uncovered a major scandal, like criminal offenses that are being swept under the rug in one of the charitable organizations my father helped run. Horrifically found tons of home movies, if you catch my drift. I also found out that my dad knew for years that he was passing away and never said a thing. That was the missing piece to the puzzle that I needed for everything to click. All right, so knowing all of that, here's where I might be the a-hole. I want to sue, press charges, and out these people in any way that I can. I want to teach these people that they cannot be crappy people without having any consequences. I want revenge. My husband thinks this is a waste of time and energy. There's nothing that can be done. I will not win a court case. No one is going to care even if I have proof. How do you know that?
Yeah, I feel like in that case then you go, okay, let's just talk to a lawyer.
Yeah, exactly.
And see if I have a case.
Yeah, I think you go to a lawyer, you bring all of that proof,
Yeah.
and we go from there.
And if he genuinely says you don't really have a case, then unfortunately we go with what your husband said.
Agree 100%. No one is going to care even if I have proof. This upsets me so much because, why can't you just support me in my time of grief? Why can't you believe that our system works? We're suing for the note. It's an open shut case. It's just in the air how long it would take on a repayment of a judgment. This is not consuming my life. I'm still a functional adult taking care of kids, going to work, but he says I'm being an a-hole. So am I? Am I on my side? Or are you on my side? I could use your help with petty revenge tips for the owners of the house, the neighbor, the cousin, the girlfriend. And OP does have an update. We have gotten a lawyer, nice, and already begun the process of going after the note. It is a very clear, open, and shut win for us. But the other stuff is shaky and could go either way with a jury, so it would be a gamble. My husband and I finally had a deeper conversation. I saw a Reddit story about how a couple has to hold each other's hand and not let go when having a fight. This worked really well for us, and we finally got to the deeper issues. He is afraid I will financially endanger our family going after revenge. I told him that really hurt me, and I am disappointed he would think that. Maybe I just like fantasizing about the revenge in a situation where I feel so powerless. Talking about it helps me let go. I joked with him that I am open to all sorts of revenge, not just financial. At the end of the day, I really do not care about getting the money. I just want things to be karmically balanced. I am open to alternatives like spice curses, voodoo dolls, whatever. The thought of them getting spooked by a shadow person for the rest of their lives gives me joy, especially since I know these people are hardcore religious. I told him I would never put our family in danger like that, and I know when to cut my losses. He's also upset that I started smoking again. I started because I am stressed, and this has been my stress crutch since I was a teenager. Oof. Usually it was a pack or two, and then I would be done for 6 to 8 months until I got stressed out again. And you need to go to therapy or some sort of support group that helps you not use that as a crutch. You can use us as a crutch if you'd like to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But I started smoking regularly in August last year when my boss passed away, and I was worried about carrying a family company of 30 employees while they were all grieving. My dad passed away shortly after, and I've been on the phone with police and lawyers every other day since then. My husband thought I picked it up. because it made me feel closer to my dad since he was a smoker. That aggravated me even more because at this point, I'm just addicted to nicotine, and his expectation of me quitting cold turkey is unreasonable. You might not be able to quit cold turkey, but you gotta make some,
Right.
like, it doesn't even seem like you're necessarily making any moves.
And I am worried that we're getting mad at our husband for being concerned about your health and your coping mechanism.
And now I am wondering if OP's husband has just been like, hey, maybe we don't, pursue revenge because it's just not good for our
and it's
health.
stressing you out a lot.
And then he's like, maybe we don't smoke because it's bad for us. And she's like,
yeah. I say maybe some therapy throughout all of this. And
big
that can help
time.
you know to proceed or not.
But that is the end of that story.
My brother-in-law throws tantrums when I play my music, so I snapped.
Why don't you like the music?
My partner, male 23, and I, non-binary 25, are huge Swifties. We own every vinyl, almost all of the cardigans, have her on almost all of our playlists. What can I say? She really does have a song to fit all my vibes. And I even went to the Eras tour. Pop off. Sure. Recently, my partner's brother, male 22, fell on hard times. By the way, this comes from NoFig9534, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, we moved away about 6 months ago and are renting a very small 2-bedroom house 12 hours away. About 4 months ago, my partner's brother was punted out of their family home by their mom. Long story, but she's a real piece of work, and moved in with his partner. That didn't work out so well either. It was a rural area, decently far from the family, and he wasn't able to find a job after almost 2 months. He missed his car payments, lost his car, and then also got punted out of there.
Dang.
Yikes.
That's tough at 22.
We've all been friends for years, so we offered him our extra room and to help him get off his feet a little bit. He's been here for about 3 weeks now, has found decent employment, and has been a good help around the house. When he moved up here, we knew it would be a drain on our resources. He had $0 to his name and a huge adjustment for us, but didn't anticipate any huge issues. Now everything is coming to a head. With Taylor Swift's new album coming out, he's really amped up his hatred for her. We can't listen to her in the car, watch any interviews or the talk containing her, play any of our vinyls, or even talk about her to each other without him blowing up. I totally get she's not for everyone and respect that. I have friends and family who don't like her music at all, and it doesn't bother me. But my brother-in-law hates her. In my opinion, an unreasonable amount for a person he's never met. I feel like I'm not allowed to even exist in my own home without inciting an argument. On the rare occasion I do play a handful of Taylor Swift songs, he makes it a miserable experience between slamming doors, stomping around, and making nasty comments. He's even interrupted my partner's work, he works from home, to rant about her and send several fake news articles about her.
This is getting ridiculous.
Most recently, tonight, my partner and I were cuddled up on the couch while eating dinner, watching the talks I've sent him, and there were a few containing her songs. His brother came down to grab food, we don't always eat together, hung out for 5 minutes, heard 2 talks with her music, then got up, huffed and stomped, made a few comments I couldn't catch under his breath, threw his dinner in the trash, and threw his utensils into the sink loud enough to make me jump before storming upstairs. We've tried to talk to him about it and say that he doesn't need to like her, but he needs to respect that we do and learn to tolerate her music in the house. We're not asking for listening parties or anything crazy. We've been pretty mindful, more than I'm comfortable with, about playing her music or talking about her when he's anywhere near. However, I don't think it's unreasonable to say we'd like to be able to have a glass of wine and pop an album on once a week after a rough week in our house, where he's been living rent-free. We pay for everything, including his devil's lettuce.
Genuinely, I think you just the conversation should be, hey, you're living rent-free.
You
are living rent-free. You can move out.
Yeah.
But if you continue to stay here, you cannot act like this. Like, I don't
Yeah.
you don't even have to say like, you don't have to like her, blah, blah, blah. None of that. You just say, if you don't like how we live in our house, then you have to leave. You cannot behave like this. This is incredibly disrespectful.
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
I know people like jump to the point of like, it's Taylor Swift. Yeah. But like, even if it was like an underground artist or like under the radar artist and like they're just playing the same music, but like it's once a week. It should be
Once a
fine.
week.
Once a week is so
Once a week.
fine.
Get
Plan
over
to
it.
go out that night. Or
Yeah,
something.
literally just leave the house.
Go to
Put
the
in-
library.
Put in
That's free.
headphones.
Yeah.
I don't care. Put in headphones. I'm sorry. You walking into the kitchen while they're playing a TikTok with a Taylor Swift song is not.
It
Right.
drives you
If
to the
that's
point.
gonna
problem.
get you too much, like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like,
It
you
drives
need-
you to the point
yeah.
of that.
I don't know. I don't even want to be like buy him some headphones, but that might help your situation.
Yeah. Get him earplugs. I don't care.
I even tried to listen to his favorite artists, pointing out that until that exact moment, he never even had an idea that I can't stand them either.
Who's them? I want to
Yeah.
know
Wait.
them.
Who do you not like? I've let him play their music, talk about them relentlessly, watch interviews, whatever, and have just kept my mouth shut because I don't see the point in ruining his joy over 10 minutes of my unhappiness. Why do y'all hate on music
Yeah.
so much?
You guys are like.
You guys are music snobs.
Truly. I'm like, whoa. I like music. I play music. I have never had this strong of feelings
I've never
about
been like, oh my
music
god,
or an artist.
10-minute interview about this artist.
I've never had that issue.
It obviously didn't change anything, which is why I'm posting here. The constant negativity and crapping on something I enjoy has really been getting to me. I've noticed I'm increasingly more irritable and on edge. I don't even want to be around him right now. I don't know where to go from here or how to fix it. He's only been here for 3 weeks, and I've already had to tell my partner his brother may need to move out at this rate. What do I do?
I will
I have
say,
some comments.
I'm just now remembering I have been in this situation with Riley. Riley,
Of course.
Get
it was
him in
Randy.
here.
when he was living here, and also still, but when he was living here, would play Dominic Fike nonstop every morning. It was like the same song every freaking morning, and it drove me crazy.
Yeah.
Literally I would wake up every morning and just hear Dominic Fike, and I was going insane. So I will say I somewhat understand, but I didn't behave like this. So
I just wish we had a breakdown of how often OP was
Yeah.
playing
Yeah.
interviews or music to begin with and
Yeah.
what level they've cut back on it.
yeah,
Relevant comments. Commenter 1. He's living rent-free and throwing a fit over your music. The audacity. This isn't about Taylor Swift. It's about his respect for you in your own home. Time for a serious talk about house rules or an exit plan. OP says, thank you. That's what I've been saying. The level of disrespect is insane. He's been my best friend for 3 years, and now we live together. And my partner and I are helping him financially, and he acts like this. Commenter 2, not the a-hole. I don't like Taylor Swift, but if you are graciously giving me a place to stay when I'm on hard times, your music choices would be my last thought. I'd be more concerned about what chores I could do to pay you back while I looked for a job, and to thank you on a daily basis. What to do? Well, he can shut the F up and contribute to the household, or he can move out. They did say he was cleaning a lot.
yeah.
Again, I really can't stand Taylor Swift. If someone was kind enough to offer me a home when I needed help, I'd be so grateful. Being a knucklehead about what music you love is such a terrible thing to comment on. You seem so kind, and I'm sorry this is happening. OP says, thank you. It's nice to know that even people who don't like her music, so valid by the way, can appreciate the absurdity of this situation. You sound great as well. We did just help get him a job, so my partner, I don't drive due to a medical issue, is loaning his car out to him to use to get to and from work. For now, he's working with me, unfortunately, but luckily I'm his boss, at a seasonal job, and he should be set to start at a different job on the 20th. I am hopeful that once he's working more, I'll have some free time to actually relax after work and listen to my music, but for now, I'm exhausted of this situation, so I think it's time for another talk tomorrow. Commenter 3, dudes acting like a toddler throwing tantrums over someone else's music taste while living rent-free in your house. The audacity is honestly impressive. You're literally paying for his devil's lettuce, and he can't handle hearing Taylor Swift for 3 minutes without losing his crap? Time to set some real boundaries, because this isn't sustainable. OP says, thank you for the validation. I totally agree this isn't sustainable. I'm very neurodivergent, have been suffering from depression for a while, and don't have a lot of things that bring me joy like music does. And now I don't even have that. It's infuriating and upsetting. Do you have any advice on how you'd go about setting boundaries? I feel like it's unreasonable to tell him that if he can't get with the program, he'll have to get out. He won't have anywhere to go at all after us.
Well, then maybe he'll learn his lesson.
Yeah. But since having a reasonable conversation didn't work, I'm not sure where to go from here or how else to get my point across. Commenter 4 says, you have bad taste in music, but he's a guest. But let's differentiate a tiny bit. Is this simple music playing in the house at a low normal volume? Are you blasting it? Because if you blast music I hate all the time, even if I'm a guest in your house, it's probably gonna drive me nuts and make me cranky as heck. Why is this post not solved by the wonderful modern invention of headphones? I know they're kind of new and all, but like, can't you just use headphones?
I don't think that's a fair...
I don't like this commenter.
I don't think that's a fair comment.
No, but
Yeah.
I'm hoping that this gives us the answers we've been wanting.
Yeah, me too.
Because this commenter is
yeah.
at least asking the
Yes,
questions
the
we
right
wanted to know.
questions, but I don't think asking the owners of the apartment to wear headphones
Yeah.
in their
I could
own
understand
house.
turning down music,
That is
especially
fair.
if it's during the day while you're working from home.
That's fair.
But
I don't think asking them to wear headphones when they just want to play music in their house is fair.
Especially when the other person's living rent free.
Yeah.
Yes, rent free, rent free.
This post sounds like a volume fight disguised as a music fight, to me anyway. And if you're blasting crap where someone can't get any peace, even as a guest, I kind of see how that'd grate and make them act up a little. Just wear some effing headphones, they're cheap. Opie says I have headphones. I use them frequently, but I don't want to wear headphones in the car when I have a perfectly functioning sound system. Completely avoid using my record player to play my 15 plus records of her. And avoid talking to my partner about whatever I want to talk about to my partner. I play the music at a reasonable volume. When I'm playing it in the living room, you can't hear it in either bathroom, any of the bedrooms, or downstairs. It's common for my partner and brother-in-law to come down and remark that they didn't know I was even playing music. If it's something they like, I'll get a, oh, so you're having a jam out without me? Wow. So it's definitely completely avoidable. I tend not to blast music at all. I'm disabled and have chronic migraines anyways, so loud music gives me a headache. But the outbursts happen regardless. If he walks past us while we're watching something together on our phones on the couch while he's off doing his own thing, talking in the kitchen while putting groceries and he needs to walk through, etc., even if I was blasting it sometimes, I think slamming doors, throwing things, interrupting work to complain unprompted, etc., is inappropriate behavior. I've also gifted him his own earbuds, and am in the process of turning the garage into a hangout smoke spot for him and my partner. Ultimately, it's my home, and he's a guest, and I'm just looking for advice on how to bring this up to him without damaging our relationship any further or punting him out, as he'd be homeless. I don't think having to wear headphones, completely avoid using vinyls, and not listening to a single Taylor Swift song in the car when he needs a ride somewhere is a good solution, though. I'd completely understand if I was blasting it or listening to it excessively, but as it is, in the past 3 weeks, I've listened to one vinyl at a decent volume after fair warning, and a total of no more than 10 songs in the entire time besides the vinyl. We have an update the next day.
I think you have to
but
tell him that if he
he's
doesn't
living
want
there
to,
rent-free.
you know, if he doesn't like how you guys live, then he doesn't have to live there. And then he goes, oh, well, I don't have another place to live. And you go, well,
Well, then I guess
Well,
you're listening to some Taylor Swift
I
once
guess
or twice a
you're gonna
week.
have to deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah. You're rent free.
Rent free, bud. Rent free.
Update next day. We waited until he was in a good mood. Then my partner and I sat him down and laid everything out on the table. We told him that his reaction to our music made us feel like we were walking on eggshells and being held hostage in our own home. We told him we were starting to become resentful and considering drastic measures if things didn't change. We made it clear that we were happy to help him, to an extent, and clarified the extent, but only if he could remain respectful. We clearly set the expectation that in this house, our house, we don't throw things, slam things, yuck anyone's yum, or yell. We made sure to address it all delicately but firmly. We asked if he'd felt respected in the house and if there was anything deeper going on mentally. He let us know about some personal things he was struggling with, and we worked together to make a game plan going forward.
Play.
Yeah. So to those of you who pointed out that it was likely a lot of change at once and there was probably a deeper mental health issue occurring, thank you. He recognized and acknowledged that his reactions were inappropriate as well as unwarranted. He apologized for his responses and disrespect, thanked us for being willing to put so much effort into making him understand how his actions were affecting us and how mindful we've been about playing her music, while admitting we've been objectively overly conscious. He agreed that the frequency we were asking for wasn't unreasonable. 45 minutes a week after a rough day or dinner without him. Talks in private conversations, not including him. During activities not including him, like watching videos on the couch while he walks by, and a song here or there while running errands for several hours. He confirmed that we weren't listening too loudly, that he wasn't able to hear it in his room or upstairs at all, and that we should be able to sparingly listen to her music in common spaces, as we allow him to do as well. We came to the conclusion together that his frustration has been building since his feed has been full of her stuff recently, with the recent album. The fact that this is likely due to his interactions with her hate videos is a discussion for another time, though he did bring this up at surface level, and he's been taking that frustration out on us. But we collectively agreed that it's just better for him to keep his mouth shut going forward. Ultimately, there's nothing we could say if we ever tried to make him like her. And on the flip side, there's nothing he can say to make us not like her. We know how he feels. He knows how we feel. And there's no point in beating a passed away horse.
I mean, sometimes there's just like, there are certain things that with friends or family that you know you're never going to agree on. So why have a conversation about it if you know how it ends?
Yeah. So basically, he's been overexposing himself. It was good to hear him come to the conclusion this whole situation was 99% his own fault and tell us that we weren't doing anything wrong. Honestly, neither of us were expecting the level of accountability he took.
Nice.
All three of us have got headphones. We gave him a pair of earbuds about a week ago, and we'll continue to keep them in heavy rotation for longer listening sessions of music others don't enjoy, as we have been doing, while doing chores or whatever around the house if we're all out in the common spaces. We're going to continue working on turning our garage into a hangout space for the boys. He'll be paying an agreed upon amount, under market value, for rent, utilities, groceries once he receives his first paycheck, and will be covering his own expenses, devil's lettuce, gas, etc. as well. I've agreed to teach him budgeting and basic finance management techniques to help him get on his feet faster and take the necessary steps towards independence.
Nice.
I'm planning to surprise him with a few vinyls of his own of his favorite artists so that he feels we're on more equal ground. Not a complaint of his, just an idea my partner and I agreed on for Christmas, though I'll likely give him to him early. We already have a few vinyls of artists we all enjoy. Our lease renews in April. Until then, we'll be having bi-weekly sit-downs to go over our concerns, and we'll reevaluate our living situation at lease renewal. If he's still here then, if it all goes well, sooner if things don't improve. And you guys can improve your listening by listening to more episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and search up Okie Storytime. That's what they really need to do here. Why are they not just listening to us all the time?
Yeah, if you just put us on in the living room, you'd have zero issues.
Everyone
why
would be so
anyone,
happy.
Dislike us?
Right?
Right, guys?
Right? There's a little bit left.
This seems like a great solution. Seems like
Yeah.
everyone talked it out, we figured it out, and everything's chill.
Yeah. Sounds like everyone was just really overstimulated about a lot
Yeah.
of different things changing.
I think
Just
this
fair.
is kind of like the vid, in a way, where everyone's stuck inside and you are maybe stuck with people. I was back living with my parents after having my first kind of experience with independence, going to college.
Yeah.
And it is frustrating, and you guys get on each other's nerves, and you're like, I want to listen to this, and they're always listening to this, and you
You have different
fight
likes,
about
different ways of living.
you fight about silly things, and I'm glad that you guys had a conversation and talked about it reasonably.
Yeah. And 3 weeks in is so much better than like 3 months in when
Yeah.
you're freaking out.
Yeah.
The mood in the house is great now. I thought there might be some tension after the discussion, but it went over very well. We ended the discussion by saying that we all loved each other, only wanted the best for the household, and that everyone deserved to feel happy and safe in the home. We're all sitting down now, getting ready to eat dinner together and watch a movie. So I thought I'd update you guys while I wait for my pot roast to be done. Thanks again, y'all.
This is perfect.
And we got one final comment. There are so few happy conclusions on this thread site. I'm frankly thrilled how well this worked out and how everyone handled this. Enjoy your pot roast, Taylor, and as I said in my comment on your original post, you just sound like a very kind person. I hope you have a wonderful life. You are an amazing person and deserve only the best.
Okay. Wow.
The hype session.
Yeah.
That was Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Opie said, truly, thank you so much for your comments, despite the validation, because his responses were so extreme. I really began to question if I was acting entitled or inappropriate or rude. People calling me a witch didn't help for sure, or something. I reread your comment several times, shared it with my partner, and screenshotted it to reread if the need arises later, or show it to brother-in-law if things don't improve and I ever tell him about the OG post. Thank you, kind internet stranger. I hope your pillow is always cold. And to quote Taylor Swift, you should have what you want. You deserve what you want. I hope you get what you want. Are those actual lyrics in that order?
Probably.
Wishing all the best for you.
You know what? They did a great job. So
Hey,
shout out, Opie.
don't yuck their yum.
I didn't yuck their
you did a
yum.
great
I
job.
said nothing about it. There's a bunch more comments just being like, good job, OP. And then,
I think this was handled great.
yeah.
My girlfriend refuses to train her dog, and it's destroying our relationship.
Well, I refuse to train you, and you're ruining me.
Before you think I'm an utter monster, I am an animal person.
Good.
I have always been the kind of person who will save kittens or puppies from the side of the road. I've rehabbed a few wild animals as well.
Aww.
I love dogs.
Okay, Dakota. Sure.
By the way, comes from user Ladder Comparison 7292. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
And I'm Savannah.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give you good advice, a little goofily, because we are just little goofballs. We don't know everything. We just know a little bit of stuff. So tell us the little bit of stuff that you know in the comments. My girlfriend and I have been together for 1.5 years. She bought her mini golden doodle to male about 3 months before we started dating. I thought it was really cute that we could both be dog parents together. The problem is that her dog is an absolute menace. He barks 24 hours a day. He is anxiously attached to her and will freak out if she leaves the room. He is extremely touch shy and will growl, bark, or snap without warning. He listens to commands approximately 4% of the time.
I was going to say, I did a research study. My hypothesis, 96% of the time, doesn't listen to me.
I just think it's funny that if OP actually was like logging all of the like commands and reactions to them, and it is just a clean 4%.
Yeah. I want to know how you based your study to that statistic.
Yeah.
Clearly.
He's just
It's
got
4%.
a notes page. He resource guards human spaces like the bed and couch, snapping or growling when you even sit next to him.
Oh, no.
He has no leash discipline, is always jumping on people, and aggressive with other dogs.
Yikes.
I have my own dog, a big 100-pound mutt. Sorry, no dog tax. I don't want my girlfriend finding this post. I think he's probably a Pyrenees mix. I grew up with dogs, and I was serious about training my own because I know his size can be intimidating. He's a good boy that mostly just wants scratches and sleep now, but he was a mess when I rescued him. Now, about 4 years later, he's extremely well behaved due to his training. At first, girlfriend implied she was doing everything she could, so to speak, and the dog simply wasn't listening. She'd frequently imply that my life was easier because my dog is just better behaved. I explained my dog was actually certifiably insane before roughly 2 years of daily training and asked her if she wanted help training her own dog. She said, yes, that would be great. Okay, here's the problem. Girlfriend takes literally nothing I say seriously.
Oh.
I am not a fan of punishment or pain for most dogs. Positive reinforcement does work. So I said there were a few small changes she could make immediately that would make her life easier. Distracting him with toys when strangers show up at the door, getting him a crate, rewarding him when he is being quiet. I said it was also probably a good idea to get him into official dog school. She wasn't raised with dogs, so she doesn't actually know a lot of common dog language things, like anxious yawning and all that stuff. This has led to a lot more arguments than I could have ever predicted. I admit I get frustrated when I see her breaking really easy to follow rules. For example, because he's cute and looks like a teddy bear, she frequently throws herself on him and cuddles roughly with him, despite his growling, squirming, and snapping. She hasn't gotten him a crate, even though he was originally crate trained, and his bed is right in front of the glass door. He has no doggy-only spaces, and she will invade his space when he's in bed or sleeping. She often lets him pull at the end of his leash. She laughs and acts like it's no big deal when he jumps on someone or slips his harness or runs up to people. She thinks it's cute, and people should relax. I think we live in a big city, and this dog is going to run into traffic and might get hurt. She gets upset, but doesn't change the behavior. She lets him off leash, even though his recall is very low. Despite the fact he's clearly a smart dog, she walks him maybe 30 minutes a day and doesn't train with him very often. One time we got into a serious argument because she let her off-leash dog be inappropriate with another on-leash dog, and the other owner got mad at her. I basically picked her snapping, growling dog up and moved him out of the situation. She was livid at the other woman for making an angry comment, "Leash your dog." But I actually agreed with the woman, and I said, I think he probably should be leashed until he knows how to behave.
That makes complete sense.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Wait, yeah, the dog's rarely leashed. Oh, whoa.
You got a
Yeah.
freaking whole creature who is alive. It is a dog. It is not a freaking labubu. You actually have to train it and take care of it and manage it.
I just don't understand. Like, I think it's just rude not to, like, it's rude to just have your dog off leash if there are going to be other dogs around and you know that the dog is going to go up and be disruptive to the other dogs that are on leash
Yeah.
and are behaving. Like, that's just, I don't know, that's common sense, I feel like. I can't with those people that, like, if you have a dog, you have to discipline it. Like, and it doesn't mean like you have to be mean to it, you have to
No.
like hit it or, whatever.
That's
like, no.
literally never how dog training works.
Exactly. Like, how do you think like the professionals do it? It's just positive reinforcement and just saying it's commands. It's like no or yes or sit or stay or it's just they realize they get it through like practice, and it's just, and that's with anyone. That's with anything.
And
Like, so I just don't understand why like people. I think people who are lazy get these dogs. They're like, oh my god, it's cute, and then they don't know how to like actually do it, and then it all goes to crap because then these things are just running around wild and being disruptive of everything. And it's like, oh, they're just like that. No, you made them like that. You're not giving them any discipline. Same with the child. You don't tell them no. They're gonna just do whatever they want.
Yeah, can you imagine how feral children would be if they just had zero discipline?
Yeah.
I was gonna say very similar to like parenting style. The dog, the way it acts and the way it is it goes off of the trainer or the owner of that dog.
Yeah.
So it goes to show. And also, I think for the girlfriend, she's the type of person like nothing's working. Nothing, like I've tried. It's just
Yeah.
not working, and you know what? I give up.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't try at all. My girlfriend accused me of being rough with her dog when he was just defending himself from a dog he attacked. Anyway, the fight was brutal. We agreed not to really discuss the dog after that. And now the dog is a point of jealousy between us. I can't believe I just had to write that sentence, but I did. She will roll over and greet the growling dog in the morning before she says anything to me, even if I'm clearly awake and the dog isn't. Rather than training him, she treats him like a teddy bear and is obsessed with what I can only define as his aesthetic, rather than his value as an actual dog. Dog boo-boo. I will be having a very serious discussion with her, and she'll be distracted by the dog, needing her affection or doing something cute. Usually, that's just him misbehaving. I mean, I would be okay if it happened sometimes, but it feels like I'll be 2 sentences into a conversation with her, and she will tune me out because he's in the room. For the sake of honesty, I'm writing this because about 3 weeks ago, my friend passed away in an accident. I was close with him. I was sitting on the couch trying not to cry, thinking about how we had plans for New Year's Eve, and as I was talking about it, my girlfriend was too distracted by her dog to listen. Her dog was literally just eating dinner like a normal dog. When I said something about it, she rolled her eyes and said it was petty to be jealous of a dog.
All right, I'm breaking up. I'm out. I'm out.
Oh, yeah. if
Enjoy
you-
your dog that you can't train and that it's gonna bite you one day and snip at your nose. Enjoy that.
Meanwhile, unfortunately, she is jealous of how her dog listens to me. I bring treats and stuff on walks to reward him, just as I do with my own dog. I try to work with him because he clearly wants to work. He is a very anxious dog and has a lot of energy. And I think he's a really salvageable dog. At this point, he prefers me to her, and she's admitted that she feels jealous of me because of this. Again, I try to explain everything that I'm doing, respecting his space, listening when he gets anxious, giving him tasks, and she acts like I'm nagging her. Maybe I am? No, you're actually doing the thing that, remember, she was like, please help me train my dog. And now you're doing that thing. She gets upset because I don't like having her dog over at my apartment. Like I said, he barks a lot, and I'm not supposed to have 2 dogs anyway. She says I hate the dog because I'm constantly correcting him and not letting him be himself. Man, that's the stupidest thing I've heard all day.
Letting a dog be themselves. They are always themselves. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Your dog is just untrained because you don't train it.
I don't think it's cute when the dog barks and misbehaves. I treat him the same as my dog, except my dog doesn't misbehave as much, so it looks like I'm being biased. I consistently remind her of my dog's demon side, which does still come out sometimes, and show her that I correct both of them. She thinks that because I don't hug or manhandle her dog that I hate him. I've explained to her that I don't think he's ready for that kind of handling. I have repeatedly explained that it took me like 2.5 years to get to the point of roughhousing with my own dog. We had been talking about moving in together, but I don't feel comfortable with that yet. I don't like that her dog harasses my dog. I don't like the barking, and I don't want to constantly be the bad guy just by actually training him. Recently, she burst into tears and said she thinks I'm asking her to choose between our relationship and the dog. I'm not. I'm asking her to please take responsibility for her dog. We have had countless conversations about this, and it usually ends in tears or her accusing me of being mean to her dog, no matter how gently I try to phrase things. I have literally Googled how to talk to someone about their dog's behavior
Me.
before coming here.
I'm so guilty of doing that. I'm like, okay, how do I say this not a mean way? Okay, Google, what do I do about this? Like,
Yeah.
me.
By the way, I want you to go listen to full episodes with stories like this one on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening. Just search OK Storytime. And it'll be a dog day afternoon.
Ooh, got him.
But we have a little bit more story here. At this point, honestly, I think I do hate the dog. I hate what it has done to our relationship. Well, that's different, buddy.
Not the dog's fault. It's not the dog's fault.
It's your girlfriend's fault.
Bingo.
I hate hearing him bark every 23 seconds. Michael Jordan. I've never felt this way about a dog before. I do think he's savable, but I also feel like he's just not the right dog for her. I am not willing to tell her that, because that's not my place. I just don't know what to do. Is it time to pack it in? Am I choosing myself rather than the dog? I don't know. And there are some comments, and I bet they'll be really supportive of you leaving this girl.
You tried. I think OP tried and tried. I mean, it could have been worked out a little bit better of like really shaking your girlfriend and be like, wake up. Like, do you see what you're saying? Why do you always vilify me? I'm trying to help you, and it's still the same thing. And then you're like, I can't help you anymore. I can't help that dog anymore. I can't help you anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to help myself.
Truly. Comment. You can't live like this. Your girlfriend hasn't been taking you seriously, and it sounds like she doesn't even think there's a problem with how her dog is. You'll never be able to move in together while the dog is around. Your quality time will always be interrupted by her barking dog. Someone told me once, imagine that you can't change someone. Would you still stay with them if you knew they'd be like this forever?
Wow. Wait, I like that. I always just assume, like, I know people don't change, but some people do change. And then it's like,
Well, I think, yeah,
it's like
people do change. People change all the time.
Yeah. But if
But it's about, like, how much control do you have that affects, like, how much of an effect do you have on their change? And that is always going to be like, I mean, you've got to expect 0. But that's what great relationships are. People who can, like, grow and, like, change together and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your girlfriend sounds like she's going to be dumb forever. Sorry, that was rude. OP replied, I went to take a walk after I wrote this, hoping I could let off some steam and calm down a bit. Coming back to this has been really eye-opening. Thank you. For real. And that's the end of that story. But I bet it ended up with a breakup.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
old
can
boy
check.
just don't want to post his mess on the internet. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But I saw it. It was right there.
But I saw it.
That's a breakup.